Chapter 1710. The black-armored, great commander appeared. Only now did everyone realize just how terrifying the great commander's power was. Another heavenly god expert. Who would have thought that our great commander would be a heavenly god? No wonder all the major forces are convinced. This young master Red Beauty was only a young master back then, but she's already a heavenly god now. Her cultivation speed is really fast. I heard that the heavenly beauty goddess is here for Luziwe. The Lu family is going to rise to the heavens in a single step. Whichever family the heavenly god is interested in, that family will rise to the heavens. No one will dare to offend the Lu family anymore. The powerful beings in the city of chaotic chaos discussed among themselves. Many of them wished that the heavenly beauty goddess was interested in their daughter so that they could befriend her. The black-armored, great commander soon left, as if he had come to warn the heavenly beauty goddess. Within the city, Lord's mansion, the heavenly beauty goddess appeared and sat down on the throne. Her expression darkened as if she was thinking about something. This heavenly beauty is quite bold. She knows that the Palace of Bliss is going to war with the chaotic ancient kingdom, but she still dares to come here alone. If it weren't for Master's orders, I would really like to spar with this heavenly beauty goddess to see who is more powerful. The black-armored great commander was wary, but his superiors had ordered him to do so. I can't do anything, but I can use the heavenly beauty goddess to test Di Tian's true power and see just how powerful he is. Within the main hall of the Lu family, this great commander is quite powerful. He's a heavenly god, and he's hiding his strength so well. Lin Fei was also quite surprised. He hadn't realized that the heavenly god was only a heavenly god. Lin Fei quickly focused his attention on the heavenly beauty goddess. This is much earlier than I thought. I wonder if someone else intervened. She shouldn't have become a heavenly god so early. He had robbed them on the divine mountain last time and plundered a large amount of divine power. Almost 90% of their divine power had been plundered, leaving only a handful for the 10 young princes. That's good too. I thought they would come looking for me. Since they're here, I might as well kill them. It's a godhead after all. Lin Fei could not suppress this thought the moment it appeared. Who asked Lin Fei to be lacking something like a godhead? The heavenly beauty goddess stowed away her red bed. He came down and appeared at the gate of the Lu family. This was also because the heavenly goddess Red Beauty didn't want to antagonize the commander. The commander was also a heavenly god, and his true form was that of a chaotic beast. His power was unfathomable, and it wouldn't be worth it to fight him. The great commander spoke. He had to give this face even if they would be opponents in the future. The heavenly beauty goddess appeared in front of the Lu family's gate, and she was surrounded by 30 to 40 exquisite beauties. The street in front of the Lu family's house was already empty. Spectate? If he had the guts, he would say it again, facing a heavenly deity who dared to go and watch. The other party could instantly kill you with a single gaze. It was quiet in front of the Lu family's house. Voila! The gate of the Lu family opened. The 4 great ancestors of the Lu family came out to welcome him. After all, this was a heavenly deity. The Lu clan's old ancestor didn't even dare to have any thoughts of destroying the Lu clan, because he was a heavenly god. It was such a simple principle. I pay my respects to the heavenly beauty goddess. Lu Yijing and the others greeted respectfully. Even if the other party was younger or stronger than them, they had to lower their heads. The heavenly beauty goddess smiled. Seniors, you're too polite. You should know why I'm here today. May I know where young Mistress Ziyu is? It was very rare for a heavenly god to speak politely to them. Under normal circumstances, the Lu clan's old ancestor might be very happy. Being able to form a relationship with a heavenly god would make him the envy of everyone. But now, the Lu clan's old ancestor seemed to be stuck between 2 fires. Lu Yijing didn't know what to say. My big brother, Yan, is asking you a question. Don't dilly-dally. An exquisite beauty shouted, not giving the Lu clan's old ancestor any face. The 4 Lu clan's old ancestors were being scolded by a ruler, but they didn't dare to get angry because there was a heavenly god behind them. This was someone they couldn't afford to offend. My Ziyu is meeting a guest at home. Lu Yijing braced himself and said. He really didn't know how to resolve this matter. After all, Di Tian wasn't someone to be offended. He might even be a heavenly god himself. He didn't want to offend both of them. Meeting a guest? The heavenly beauty goddess didn't seem angry. I'm actually interested in meeting this guest. Maybe I know him. You have to help me resolve this matter. Lu Zue stomped her foot and said as soon as the Lu clan's old ancestor left. Lin Fei was stunned. F***CK, even your old ancestor agreed to marry the heavenly beauty goddess. That's like reaching the heavens in a single step. Do you know how many people are envious of her? Lu Ziue's expression was frosty. Be ****, how dare you say that? The heavenly beauty goddess is indeed a heavenly god, but I don't like her. Didn't you see that she brought so many exquisite beauties with her? I don't want to become one of them. The heavenly beauty goddess had swaggered over. She clearly didn't give the Lu clan any face. It was as if she had directly come to take someone away. Lin Fei smirked. I wonder what I'll get out of helping you. She's a heavenly god, and she's very powerful. I might not be able to defeat her. Lu Zue cursed Lin Fei in her heart for being so shameless. Then what do you want? Lu Zue said shyly. Lin Fei rarely saw Lu Zue being so shy. He felt that it was more interesting to tease her. Well, I really don't know. You have to let me think about it. Does this bad guy even need to think about it at this time? Lu Zue had known Lin Fei for a long time. She naturally knew that Lin Fei was doing this on purpose. He was waiting for her to speak. When she thought about what he had said, the domineering Lu Zue blushed all the way to her neck. She was like a ripe red apple, extremely tempting. Patter. Lu Zue did something unexpected. She quickly went to Lin Fei's side and kissed him on his left cheek. Oh, it smells so good. After hearing this, Lu Zue didn't even dare to look at Lin Fei. Lin Fei was simply too shameless. How could he say something like that? Lin Fei liked to see Lu Zue being shy. That's right, that's right. I'll treat it as interest. Lin Fei chuckled. Don't go back on your word when the time comes. As long as you solve this problem, I'll be yours, Lin Fei boasted. Holy F***CK. Do you have to be so direct? Lu Zue wanted nothing more than to strangle Lin Fei. My old acquaintance is here. Come stand beside me. Lin Fei suddenly waved his hand. The smile on his face disappeared as a cold light flashed through his eyes. Young Mistress Zue, I heard your... The heavenly beauty goddess's voice sounded from outside. Chapter 17:11. The heavenly beauty goddess was in a good mood. Ever since she had awakened her memories and became a heavenly god, her status had also improved. She had the right to speak for herself, so she no longer cared about ordinary forces. Marrying Lu Zue from the Lu family was something she had to do in the future. She wanted to rope in all the forces that she could. Now that she had awakened her memories, she knew her mission very well. She had to take over the forces that she had to before the people of the 8 sects could react and strengthen the Bliss Palace's forces in the lower realm. The Lu family was a force that she could rope in. Marrying Lu Zue would be the same as having a connection. She wouldn't have to worry about other people thinking of her. No one would overlook her identity as a heavenly god of the Bliss Palace. The better she performed her mission, the better she would leave a good impression on her superiors. The heavenly beauty goddess came uninvited. She didn't care who Lu Zue wanted to meet as long as she was married. It sounded nice on the surface, but she was actually taking away a woman from the Lu family. This isn't Lu Zue's voice. Why does it sound so familiar? Is she really my old friend? The heavenly beauty goddess was shocked. She didn't seem to have any old acquaintances here. Everyone knew that the chaotic ancient kingdom was that person's territory. She was trying to establish a relationship with the Liu family before that person returned. If that person had designs on the Liu family, it would be even better. She would be able to easily recruit 4 half-step heavenly gods. Who are you? Why are you acting all mysterious here? The heavenly beauty goddess snorted coldly and strode in. Big brother, what should we do? It's obvious. Tian and the heavenly beauty goddess are at odds. The 4 Liu family ancestral patriarchs who followed behind her all had cold sweat on their foreheads. They hadn't met yet. The 2 of them were already at loggerheads. A fight might break out soon. Let's just stand aside and watch. Don't get involved in their business. Lu Yijing said with a solemn expression. The heavenly beauty goddess strode in. A terrifying aura swept toward a certain someone. Heavenly god Aura. Old friend, we finally met. Do you really have to use the heavenly god Aura against me? Or are you showing off that you've become a heavenly god? Lin Fei chuckled and shattered the heavenly god Aura. It's you. The heavenly red beauty goddess was initially going to teach Lin Fei a lesson. But after seeing him, the memories in the depths of her mind were torn apart again, and her terrifying killing intent materialized as she thrust a spear toward Lin Fei. Lin Fei, the heavenly beauty goddess, would never forget this guy. It was this unsightly fellow. He had ruined his plan to become a deity and forcefully delayed it for a period of time. If it weren't for the fact that the higher-ups had acted again, he would have had to delay his plan to become a heavenly deity. The heavenly beauty goddess had never forgotten this grudge. Originally, he thought that Lin Fei would die in the hands of that big shot. He didn't expect that not only was this guy not dead, but he even dared to show off in front of him. The heavenly beauty goddess immediately unleashed her weapon in an attempt to kill Lin Fei. As soon as the spear appeared, a terrifying aura enveloped Lin Fei. This attack was too fast. This was a clear indication of just how much the heavenly beauty goddess hated him. The 10 heavenly princes, the 10 heavenly gods now. You don't have to be so friendly to an old friend. Lin Fei drew his heavenly god saber. He struck the spear with his saber. Clang, a deafening sound reverberated through the air. Rumble. The main hall of the Liu family collapsed with a loud boom, sending dust flying into the air. It had been reduced to rubble. Why did they attack so quickly? The patriarch of the Liu family didn't know what to say. They had only been in there for a few seconds. Without any hesitation, they withdrew the Liu family members into their own space. They didn't want to be swept away by the shock waves. In the rubble, Lin Fei stood still with the heavenly god saber in his hand. Lu Ze stood behind him with a hint of shock on her face. After all, she had just witnessed the terrifying combat prowess of a heavenly god. 13 soul annihilation stab. The heavenly beauty goddess grabbed her black spear, and a suit of black armor appeared on her body. She slashed her spear through the air, and 13 streaks of light swept toward Lin Fei. I would have let you go if you didn't want to come out, but now that you dare to come out, I'll show you the combat prowess of a heavenly god. That's a level you'll never be able to reach in your lifetime. I'm going to devour the power of your clone. The heavenly beauty goddess laughed heartily. Her chance to avenge herself was here. Ever since she started cultivating, she had never wanted to kill someone so much. The 13 terrifying auras shocked everyone in the City of Chaos. The conflict between Lin Fei and the 8 great sects and the 7 overlords is indeed very deep. In the sky above the city, Lord's mansion, the black-armored commander smiled. He attacked the area near the Liu family a dozen times in a row, sealing that area so that the heavenly god's power wouldn't harm others. The more intense the battle between the 2 of them became, the happier the commander was. The Bliss Palace was also an enemy of the City of Chaos. They would have to fight sooner or later. Go, Big Brother Yen. Big Brother Yen is the best. In the rubble of the Liu family, a group of peerless beauties were cheering. The heavenly beauty goddess's attacks were very fierce. The inferior grade divine artifact spear in her hand was like a divine weapon, and she kept attacking Lin Fei's vital points. Heavenly beauty goddess, is this all you've got? Looks like this heavenly god is only SOO. Lin Fei used a divine power attack to knock the black spear away. His figure disappeared and appeared to the left of the heavenly beauty goddess. A divine saber projection followed closely behind and struck the heavenly beauty goddess. Boom! Half of the heavenly beauty goddess's body went numb, and she was sent flying. Her inferior grade divine armor was riddled with cracks. How is this possible? You've also become a heavenly god. The heavenly beauty goddess's mind was filled with hatred when she saw Lin Fei. She never thought that Lin Fei would be a match for her. After all, she was now a heavenly god, a true heavenly god who had perfect control over her divine power. Are heavenly gods that bad *SS? You're still getting beaten up by me. Whoosh! Lin Fei appeared beside the heavenly beauty goddess again and struck her with another terrifying saber strike, causing her to throw up a mouthful of blood. Impossible! I'm a heavenly god. How can you avoid my divine sense? A hint of fear appeared on the heavenly beauty goddess's calm face. She was unable to defend herself against Lin Fei's attack. Whoosh! What awaited the heavenly beauty goddess was another saber strike. Crack, crack, crack. The heavenly beauty goddess was knocked flying, and the inferior grade divine armor she was wearing also shattered, sending shards flying through the air. After mastering the mystic technique he had obtained from chaotic red robe, Lin Fei's spatial and time bloodlines had become even more fearsome. Even if the heavenly beauty goddess was a one-star heavenly god, she wouldn't be able to do anything to Lin Fei, let alone a mere one-star heavenly god. My inferior grade divine armor! Her inferior grade divine armor had been shattered, and her heavenly beauty goddess heart was dripping blood. That was a reward given to her by the higher-ups. How was she supposed to survive in the future? You dared to destroy my inferior grade divine armor, but do you really think you've won? You're sorely mistaken. You'll never know how powerful a heavenly god is unless you become a heavenly god. Boom! The heavenly beauty goddess's aura erupted like a long sword. Single origin palm of heaven and earth. Chapter 1712. Boom, boom, boom. With the appearance of the giant hand, there was an indescribable pressure between heaven and earth. The immortals and ferocious beasts of the city of chaotic chaos were not within the attack range, but the pressure of heaven and earth almost suffocated them. What a terrifying aura! Is this the power of a heavenly god? No wonder a half-step heavenly god is no match for it. It looks like a heavenly god can borrow the power of heaven and earth. All of the immortals looked at one another, even though they knew that heavenly gods were very powerful and could easily crush half-step heavenly gods. Only now did they realize that heavenly gods could borrow the power of heaven and earth. The 4 patriarchs of the Lu family also left the battlefield. The pressure of heaven and earth was too terrifying. Even after they left the Lu family, their bodies were still trembling, unable to withstand the terrifying aura of heaven and earth. This heavenly beauty goddess is too terrifying. I had thought that there wasn't much of a difference between her and a heavenly god, but it looks like the difference is even greater than I had imagined. I wonder if Lin Fei will be able to withstand it. The patriarchs of the Lu family were uneasy. If Lin Fei lost, the heavenly beauty goddess would be furious, and the Lu family would definitely be finished. In the air above the city lord's manor, the black-armored general looked on silently. The heavenly beauty goddess has mastered the power of heaven and earth so quickly. I really want to see how Tian is going to defend himself against this attack. The black-armored general knew how powerful the power of heaven and earth was. Why were heavenly gods so powerful? Not only could they transform their power into divine power, but they could also borrow the power of heaven and earth. No matter how powerful a person was, they couldn't oppose the power of heaven and earth. The heavenly beauty goddess had unleashed this attack. The general knew that Di Tian was in trouble, but not in such a short time. He was able to force the heavenly beauty goddess to unleash her most powerful attack and destroy her inferior grade divine armor. This Di Tian was quite a formidable opponent. Lin Fei, let's see how you block this power of heaven and earth. A smug smile appeared on the heavenly beauty goddess's face. Atop the ruins of the Lu family, Lin Fei was locked onto by the terrifying aura of heaven and earth, and he waved a hand to send Lu Ziyue to a safe place outside. The power of a heavenly god. I didn't expect him to use this attack. This attack was far more powerful than the heavenly beauty goddess's previous attack. You can use the power of the heaven and earth. Who's afraid of you? It just so happens that I can also put my space and time powers to practice. Lin Fei was not afraid at all. What he had was a fighting spirit. Isn't it just a mere manipulation of the power of heaven and earth? If you can do it, so can I. Lin Fei laughed and disappeared in an instant. Having broken free from the lock of the world, the giant hand lost its target and its might instantly dissipated. Sky Slash. Lin Fei suddenly appeared in the distance. A burst of gentle, invisible power instantly locked onto the heavenly beauty goddess. This was a force that could not be seen clearly. The heavenly beauty goddess was indeed able to sense just how terrifying this was. Single heaven and earth palm. The sky-propping giant hand appeared again. She unleashed a vicious palm strike toward Lin Fei, but the heavenly beauty goddess was unable to relax in the slightest. The terrifying aura was still locked onto him. What the hell is this power? The heavenly beauty goddess had never seen such a power before. The terrifying aura grew closer and closer. He took out a supreme grade ruler's battle robe and put on. At the same time, he hurriedly retreated. Whoosh! The terrifying aura crashed toward the heavenly beauty goddess. The heavenly beauty goddess also stopped in her tracks. Her aura suddenly dimmed. Her eyes widened as her body was instantly sliced in half, and she plummeted from the sky. A dark red crystal hovered in the sky, exuding a faint divine might. Ding! Congratulations to player for killing a 1-star heavenly god. Ding! Killed a 1-star heavenly god. Obtained 1-star godhead. Ding! As player has killed the first 1-star heavenly god, the system will reward you 1 God King fragment. F***CK. The Sky Slash is so powerful. It killed a heavenly god just like that. Lin Fei was a little taken aback. The power of the Sky Slash was far more powerful than he had imagined. Master, hurry up and put away the godhead. The little demon reminded him. Lin Fei came to his senses and grabbed the godhead. Immediately afterward, a figure suddenly appeared. This figure was clearly slower than Lin Fei, and it was none other than the Great Commander. Great Commander, what are you doing? Lin Fei put away the godhead. He was inwardly glad that he had acted in advance. Otherwise, the godhead would have fallen into someone else's hands. Lin Fei hadn't expected it to be so powerful when he used Sky Slash. He had killed the heavenly beauty goddess with a single strike. In reality, Lin Fei did not know how powerful the spatial technique that the red-clothed chaos goddess had spoken of was. It was a top-tier technique that had been created by a master of space and a master of time. Needless to say, it was powerful enough to kill the heavenly beauty goddess with ease. The heavenly beauty goddess has gone too far. I came here to dissuade him. But who would have thought that you would be able to kill her so easily? What a young and promising man. The Great Commander said angrily. Keep pretending. Keep pretending. Lin Fei knew very well that the Great Commander was here for the godhead. A godhead could create a heavenly god. Anyone would be envious of such a thing. Actually, I don't like him either. We were talking nicely, but he just had to make a move. Isn't he courting death? Lin Fei said with a smile. Does he really think I'm a 3-year-old kid? Fellow Taoist, don't you agree? The great commander never thought that the heavenly beauty goddess would die at the hands of Lin Fei. She was a heavenly god. The great commander knew that he might not have been able to kill her even if he had attacked, but Lin Fei had done it. The great commander could tell that Yi Futian was warning him not to act recklessly. People like him deserve to die. The chief commander was very wary of Lin Fei at the moment, especially when he was able to sense how terrifying that last move was. However, he was unable to tell. Fellow Taoist, you should be wary of the Bliss Palace. They've lost a heavenly god, and there's no way they'll give up so easily. Seeing that there was no chance to snatch the godhead from Lin Fei, the great commander left after chatting for a while. That guy is very cunning. I wanted to kill him as well, so I could get another godhead. Lin Fei licked his lips as he watched the great commander leave. It's good that he doesn't come and mess with me. The people of the City of Chaos had seen how terrifying Di Tian was. Even though it was a blur, everyone knew that Di Tian had killed a heavenly god, and even the great commander had to treat him with respect. The 4 great ancestors of the Liu family were now completely convinced. This guy was very, very strong. Fortunately, they did not offend him before. Otherwise, the Liu family would have been destroyed. The 4 great ancestors of the Liu family did not dare to get close for now. They could still call him a friend before, but now they had to call him a senior. They could not bring themselves to say it. After the great commander left, Lin Fei let Lu Ziyue out. Lu Ziyue asked as soon as she came out, "You killed the heavenly beauty goddess?" "Why would you say that?" Lin Fei asked with a smile. Chapter 17:13. Lin Fei was not surprised that he had killed a heavenly god. The only surprise was that the top-level spatial technique was more powerful than he had imagined. Lin Fei was laughing to himself. He wondered what the spatial technique he left behind outside the mountain of corpses would bring to the red-robed chaos. It must be very interesting. He might even be able to imagine the expression on the red-robed chaos face. This was a great deal. Lin Fei did not plan to stay in the Liu clan any longer after obtaining a godhood. He found a random reason and left the City of Chaos. Lin Fei had more pressing matters to attend to at the moment. He had to create a heavenly god. The huge senfu of the Liu clan was almost destroyed. It was now a pile of rubble. The 4 great ancestors of the Liu clan were not paying attention to the rubble. Instead, they were digesting the shocking news that they had just received. Big brother, this. Lu Yiren was still in a daze. Lu Yijing was the same. As a half-step heavenly god, he was only half a step away from that step, but it was as far as the sky. It would not be easy for the Liu clan to produce a heavenly god without any fortuitous encounters. The fact that Lin Fei had killed a heavenly god at such a young age shocked them greatly. Their cultivation had been wasted on a dog. The Empyrean deity of beauty died in our hands. No matter how the Bliss Palace sees it, we, the Liu clan, have thoroughly offended them. They won't listen to our explanation. The only way out for us now is to work with Lin Fei. The 4 great ancestors looked at Lu Ziyue as well. Master, you're so lucky. Just when you want a godhood, someone delivers one to you. The little demon was beaming with joy. Lin Fei's trip to the City of Chaos was actually to cooperate with the Bliss Palace. He wanted to get a godhood. He did not expect that. Lin Fei was very concerned about the importance of a godhood. When he obtained the technique from the red-robed chaos, he wanted nothing more than to increase the cultivation level of his 18 primordial clones. In the eyes of others, a godhood might be troublesome, but in Lin Fei's eyes it was nothing. At most, it would just be a waste of time. The godhood came faster than expected. It's all your fault for being in such a hurry to reincarnate Empyrean goddess of beauty. She was so eager to give me a divine spark. But then again, I've killed a heavenly deity of the Bliss Palace. The Bliss Palace will definitely be enraged, and a great battle is unavoidable. I'll have to upgrade my 18 clones right now. This time, How many heavenly gods will send themselves to our doorstep? Without stopping, Lin Fei returned to the great metropolis heaven. Fortunately, he didn't come. Lin Fei still had time. After returning, Lin Fei summoned his battle fort and entered it, because there were a few questions that he had to clarify first. What's going on with this God King fragment? Lin Fei asked the little devil as soon as he entered the secret room. This matter had been on his mind for a long time, and he had to get to the bottom of it no matter what. Master, now that you can kill heavenly god powerhouses, the system will naturally give you some benefits. The godly monarch fragment is one of the benefits. Lin Fei listened attentively. The little devil continued, the godly monarch fragment is a good thing. Only heavenly gods will have it. Killing a heavenly god powerhouse will give you a chance to obtain a godly monarch fragment. As long as you gather 100 godly monarch fragments, Master, you can reassemble the fragments and summon a godly monarch powerhouse. Isn't that exciting? Lin Fei's eyes instantly lit up. It's a good thing, but it drops randomly. Will it be hard to collect the fragments? I can't keep killing heavenly god powerhouses, right? Lin Fei's current combat strength was equivalent to a heavenly god powerhouse with several stars. Especially when using spatial techniques and time techniques, he had the support of powerful god energy. His combat strength was exceptionally strong. Godly monarch powerhouses were definitely stronger than heavenly gods. If he summoned a godly monarch powerhouse, in this world, wouldn't he be able to do whatever he wanted? That will depend on how many heavenly gods you kill. The little devil whetted Lin Fei's appetite. I believe that day will come very soon. Master, do your best. By the way, I want to know if the godly monarch powerhouse that I summon will leave. For example, if it stays for a while, how much stronger is it than a heavenly god? The godly monarch that you summon is a permanent existence. However, you will need to consume divinity points every day. As long as the godly monarch isn't killed and you have enough divinity points, the godly monarch will always exist. As for the strength of the godly monarch, it's one level higher than a heavenly god. There are also 9 stars, godly monarch powerhouses. Whether you can summon a godly monarch of that level will depend on your luck. Master. Lin Fei blinked. Godly monarch? Just the name alone was enough to tell how powerful it was. Lin Fei was relieved after learning about the function of the godly monarch fragment. He stopped worrying about it and took out the heavenly beauty goddess's godhead. It was a complete godhead. It was still perfect even after being attacked by spatial techniques. Lin Fei, if you dare kill me, the Bliss Palace will not let you get away with it. The big shots of the upper realm will also kill you. The heavenly beauty goddess's furious roar came from the godhead as soon as it was taken out. F*CK, you're not dead. The heavenly beauty goddess's face was revealed on the surface of the godhead. She glared at Lin Fei furiously. How would an ant like you know about the wonders of the godhead? You may have destroyed my physical body, but you can't destroy the godhead. As long as the godhead exists, I can still be resurrected. The heavenly beauty goddess grinned viciously. She felt extremely frustrated as she thought to herself, UD*MNB* starred. I'm going to destroy your great metropolis heaven once I get out of here. Oh, so the godhead has such an effect. Lin Fei came to a sudden realization. The heavenly beauty goddess wanted Lin Fei to know just how powerful a heavenly god was. Even if his physical body was destroyed, he would not be able to kill her. If it weren't for the fact that he was unable to react in time, the godhead would not have fallen into his hands. You'd better get ready and let me go right now. Otherwise, you'll have to face the wrath of the Bliss Palace. No matter how special your cultivation method is, you won't stand a chance against the big shots. The heavenly beauty goddess wanted Lin Fei to feel fear. Lin Fei was rather curious. A heavenly god is indeed a heavenly god. You're so confident in your threats. I'm very curious. What's the purpose of a guy who came down from the upper realm like you. Can you tell me a man who's about to die?" The heavenly beauty goddess smirked. "So you're afraid now. You might be able to kill me, but you're nothing but an ant in the eyes of the big shots. Even the people of this realm are ants, and they're all under the control of the big shots. Now you know how insignificant you are. As long as you're willing to become my follower and hand over the method you used to kill me, I can guarantee that you'll live. Even your family won't have to die. Think about it." The heavenly beauty goddess was confident that no one would be able to turn down such tempting conditions. In the eyes of the heavenly beauty goddess, Lin Fei was a powerful fighter. After all, a half-step heavenly god was able to unleash the combat prowess of a heavenly god, or even a one-star heavenly god. It was very common in the upper realm and extremely rare in the lower realm. Chapter 17:14. The heavenly beauty goddess had awakened all of her memories. No one knew how powerful this technique was more than he did. An invisible attack was the most terrifying. The heavenly beauty goddess did not even know how to block it. This technique was too terrifying. The heavenly beauty goddess threatened Lin Fei with her backer. As long as Lin Fei yielded and let her go, she would have a chance to obtain his powerful technique. As long as she cultivated this technique, she would be able to rapidly improve her strength. She might even be able to become a divine king in the future. She had to obtain this technique. While the heavenly goddess of red beauty's killing intent toward Lin Fei was very strong, she still had to suppress Lin Fei at the moment. It would be best if she could cause him to have a mental breakdown. Once Lin Fei became wary of the Bliss Palace, she would regain her freedom and obtain the cultivation method that she had always dreamed of. There was no way she would allow such a powerful cultivation method to fall into the hands of a nobody like her, not someone of noble blood. Unfortunately, the heavenly beauty goddess did not know that Lin Fei was not afraid of threats. Looks like the heavenly beauty goddess was also a powerful figure in the past. "Unfortunately, I'm not interested in what you have to say. As for what's in your mind, I can't be bothered." Lin Fei was not an idiot. There was no way he would believe the heavenly beauty goddess. Powerful figure? Otherwise, you wouldn't have sent your pawns down to the lower realms. The heavenly beauty goddess threatened. "Aren't you afraid that the great metropolis heaven will be destroyed? Aren't you afraid of being attacked by the 8 sects? As long as you're alive, the 10 young princes will be very interested. They'll come here in person soon. As long as you submit to me, I can take care of this matter and ensure that you won't be threatened in the future." Lin Fei shook his head. "I robbed the 10 young princes and prevented them from becoming heavenly gods. Even powerful figures can't do anything to me. Why should I care about mere heavenly gods?" 10,000 years in a glance. Lin Fei performed a series of hand seals, and a mysterious power enveloped the godhead. The heavenly beauty goddess' face twisted with rage. "What are you doing? Stop right now." Lin Fei did not care. He chuckled. "Didn't you say that I won't die? I'm just testing it out. Why are you worried?" "No, my energy." This was a top-notch time manipulation technique that Lin Fei had learned. A large amount of divine power in Lin Fei's body was consumed. The heavenly beauty goddess's appearance rapidly aged, and in less than 3 breaths' time, she had become a white-haired old woman. Then her aura completely disappeared, and there was no longer any aura within the heavenly beauty goddess's body. Like I said, it's not like you won't die even if you hide in a godhead. Lin Fei pursed his lips in astonishment. "Thank God I managed to extort the spatial and temporal techniques from Chaos Red. Otherwise, it would be very troublesome to kill the heavenly beauty goddess within the godhead." Lin Fei wasn't interested in learning about the heavenly beauty goddess's thoughts. What the big shots were planning down there had nothing to do with him. At most, he would just kill a few more celestial gods to provide him with God King fragments. Lin Fei immediately sat down cross-legged. A doppelganger stood beside Lin Fei and cupped his hands towards Lin Fei. "Greetings to the main body." Lin Fei also cupped his hands and couldn't help but smile. Let the upgrade begin. At the moment when the heavenly beauty goddess perished, a furious roar came from a celestial realm mountain in a faraway territory. "Who is it?" The voice, which was imbued with boundless killing intent, shot into the starry sky beyond the Godhead realm, shattering many uninhabited stars. The entire Godhead realm was in a state of panic. All eyes fell upon the divine realm that was shrouded. One of the patriarchs there was enraged. The Bliss Palace was one of the 8 major sections. Another celestial god had recently emerged, causing the Bliss Palace's influence to expand once again. Many immortals joined the Bliss Palace. Even though they were only outer disciples, with a celestial god backing them, they were able to do whatever they wanted. The Bliss Palace's strength expanded very quickly. Beauty has been killed. There was a small space deep within the Bliss Palace. There were 8 mighty ones sitting together at the moment, and they were all projections. All of them had different expressions on their faces, but the one thing they had in common was that they were all enraged. None of those important figures could sit still after learning that the heavenly beauty goddess had perished. Those who were able to sit there were all the decision-makers of the Bliss Palace, the truly important figures. "Old Palace Lord, has beauty really perished?" The one who asked the question was an old man in gray robes. There was a fire mark on his forehead, and terrifying waves of air surged around him, rippling out in waves. That person was none other than the heavenly beauty goddess's teacher, heavenly god Crimson Flame. Indeed, everyone present was a heavenly god, and there were 8 of them. The heavenly beauty goddess was only known to the public. If word were to spread, everyone would have been shocked to see how powerful the Bliss Palace was. Heavenly god Crimson Flame refused to believe that his own disciple had perished. Heavenly god Crimson Flame was more excited than anyone else to have taken in a reincarnated disciple. It was also something that he enjoyed talking about the most. Because of his disciple, his authority in the core group had increased. Heavenly god Crimson Flame, who had a fiery temper to begin with, was unable to control his rage once he heard that his disciple had perished. That was basically cutting off any hope of ascending. She has indeed perished. The 3-eyed heavenly god in the middle took out a broken piece of jade. Everyone wore expressions of disbelief. They all had something like that, and it was known as the spiritual pearl. It contained a wisp of a mighty one's spiritual soul. As long as the spiritual soul was not destroyed, the person would not die. Now that the spiritual soul was shattered, it meant that the person had met with misfortune. That's impossible. Beauty's powers have reached the level of a 1-star heavenly god, and she has a low-tier divine weapon. She even learned the single origin of heaven and earth hand, which allows her to control the power of heaven and earth. Could it have been someone from the 8 major sects? Heavenly god Crimson Flame's expression was grim. If they were the ones who broke the rules, we would have killed their heavenly god as well. That's right. If they dared to break the rules, we would have dared to make a move and teach them a lesson. We, the Bliss Palace, are not pushovers. As one of the 8 major sects, the Bliss Palace was already a top-notch force in the domain. It was only natural that they had their own rules. At their level, they would rarely make a move on the younger generation. It was a matter between disciples, and it was normal for them to kill one another. However, if the older generation were to make a move, it would be breaking the rules. That rule had always been in place. No matter how much of a ruckus there was between the 8 major sects, the older generation would never make a move. As soon as Beauty Goddess died, they suspected that it was the older generation who did it. The 10 young masters, which were the current 10 heavenly gods, were about the same in terms of powers. It would have been difficult for them to kill one another. Furthermore, they had yet to develop to such a degree. It was just a small skirmish at most. Chapter 17:15. It's done. Great Metropolis World Battle Fortress. A terrifying heavenly god aura spread out. Lin Fei leaped up, a satisfied look on his tired face. The red-clothed chaos really didn't lie to me. Using the godheads can really increase the fighting power of my clones, allowing them to ascend to the heavenly god realm. The clone's aura beside him turned into a true heavenly god aura. Lin Fei used his divine sense to check and found nothing wrong. The only downside was that the heavenly god clones needed energy. Without energy, their fighting power would plummet. If all 18 clones ascend to the heavenly god realm, I will need to prepare a large amount of godstones. Otherwise, I won't be able to raise so many clones. Lin Fei couldn't help but smile bitterly. Luckily, he didn't have to worry now. After ascending to the heavenly god realm, my equipment will be able to unleash 100% of its power. One clone ascended to the heavenly god realm. Lin Fei was quite satisfied. What he lacked now was the godheads. This can't be rushed. Coming out of the battle fortress, Lin Fei realized that not much time had passed outside. Thinking about it, in order to refine the godheads, Lin Fei used the time technique and consumed a large amount of god power. It seemed like it was worth it. Young master, the Liu family is here. They want to see you. I told them that you are in seclusion and arranged for them to stay in the courtyard. After Lin Fei came out, Dragon King came to report the situation. Ever since they returned, the dragon race settled down in Great Metropolis World. Dragon King also stayed in Invincible Palace. Because of his ability, Lin Fei arranged for Dragon King to be the head butler of Invincible Palace. After all, 9 Dragon King was experienced and arranged things well. The most important thing was still the half-step heavenly god. Dragon King didn't let down his responsibilities. He arranged things well. No one in Invincible Palace dared to say anything bad about it. Bring them to the main hall. Lin Fei wasn't surprised that the Liu family would come personally. Oh, and over at Primal Chaos City, the commander sent 2 old acquaintances. They said that it's about the low-grade god weapon. I've arranged for them to stay. After I meet with the Liu family, arrange for them to come here. Lin Fei said. He had just taken a few steps when he turned back and said, Dragon King, I'll leave the matters in the palace to you. I'll go back with you in person in a few days. Dragon King said gratefully, Thank you, young master. This was not Lu Ziyue's first time in the Great Metropolis Heaven, but this time his mood was obviously different. This bad guy still knows how to come out. Lu Ziyue muttered to herself in the palace. Her feelings for Lin Fei were very complicated. Right now, Lin Fei had grown to a very high level. The 4 patriarchs of the clan had no choice but to lower their heads. This time, the Liu family sent 2 patriarchs, Liu Yijing and Liu Bufan. The other 2 stayed behind to guard the Liu family. They did not have to worry about revenge from the Bliss Palace while they were in the City of Chaos. It was not a good idea after all. After some hesitation, they decided to contact Lin Fei to see how they could increase the Liu family's power. It was a pity that they came at the wrong time. They learned that Lin Fei had gone to train in isolation, so they had no choice but to stay and wait for Lin Fei to come out. The 2 patriarchs of the Liu family looked worried. How did the Liu family end up in such a situation? But they could not say anything, so they could only grit their teeth and swallow it. Lin Fei's terror made them very afraid. They could not afford to offend the Bliss Palace, and neither could they afford to offend Lin Fei. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. Lin Fei walked in with big strides. We haven't been here for long either. Liu Yijing and Liu Bufan said. They did not dare to say anything. They did not dare to put on airs when facing a guy who could kill gods. When Lin Fei walked past Lu Ziyue, he said in a low voice, My great beauty, it's not good to talk behind someone's back. Stingy man. Lu Ziyue bit her lip. Can I even say it? Liu Bufan and Liu Yijing looked at each other. They were secretly glad that they brought Lu Ziyue along. They were not fools. They knew very well that there was something fishy going on. Lin Fei clearly had a good impression of Ziyue, and Ziyue was about the same. If they could get together, it would be of great benefit to the Lu family. Lin Fei had never seen Lu Ziyue with such an expression. It was very enchanting. It was said that a strong woman would be very enchanting when she posed. Now it seemed that they were right. Young Master Lin, the Lu family has decided after some research. We are willing to cooperate with you on a deeper level, Lu Yijing said. This was the decision that the 4 patriarchs had come to. We can cooperate. I know that the Lu family can offer that many things. I have a good suggestion. If the Tianyin Tower sells rulers' armaments and the like for me, I can give the Lu family 10% of the profits. Lin Fei said straightforwardly, giving them a choice. 10% is too little. Lu Ziyue immediately said. Lin Fei chuckled. 10% is not a small amount. The Tianyin Tower is just using your connections, and I am providing rulers' treasures. This kind of good thing is not something that anyone can get. However, I can give you 20% of the profits. Lu Ziyue didn't know what to say for a moment. Lu Ziyue was very clear about the meaning behind Lin Fei giving her Lu family 10% of the profits. The Lu family was indeed benefiting. With rulers' armaments, the Lu family could rapidly expand their influence in the weaves. This kind of good thing was not easy to find. Any merchant association would be like a shark that smelled blood. Ziyue, thank you, young Master Lin. Lu Yijing hurriedly gave Ziyue a look. He was afraid that Ziyue would say something wrong, and the 20% would become 10% again. Thank you, young Master Lin. Lu Ziyue could only helplessly say, this guy was too cunning. He made her speechless. This kind of person was the worst. No need to thank me. We're all partners. Lin Fei said casually, I will arrange for safety. I hope to hold the first auction in the great metropolis sky. Your task is to publicize it. I want everyone in the weaves to know about it. Lu Yijing and Lu Bufan became excited. This was a big matter. The first auction was held in the great metropolis sky. Actually, it didn't matter much. They would just send out some people. Lin Fei would probably be responsible for safety. Overall, the Lu family wouldn't be affected. I wonder how many weapons young Master Lin is planning to bring out for the first auction. We can also publicize it. Since it's the first auction, we have to make it big. I want everyone in the weaves to know that I'm planning to bring out 100 perfect high-grade rulers' armaments, 50 supreme-grade rulers' armaments, 50 supreme-grade battle robes, and 10 low-grade divine artifacts. The 2 people from the Lu family sucked in a breath of cold air. How generous! Chapter 17:16. Big deal? This was only the beginning. The 8 sects had connections with the higher-ups, and so did the 10 princes. Lin Fei even learned from the goddess of beauty that someone was playing a big game of chess. There was a lot of turbulence in the territory now. Putting aside the 8 great sects, Lin Fei understood that things were heading in an unknown direction just by the fact that the primal chaos had broken free. What Lin Fei needed was to improve his strength. Lin Fei had his reasons for releasing such a huge gimmick. After negotiating with the Lu family patriarch left. Lu Ziyue stayed behind. In Lu Yijing's words, she was in charge of the location of the great metropolis world. Are you plotting something? Lu Ziyue asked after the Lu family patriarch left. Lin Fei shrugged. Plot? What plot? I'm just a moneymaker. You think I don't know you? Lu Ziyue didn't believe Lin Fei at all. Maybe a lot of people will be at a disadvantage this time. Lu Ziyue left just like that. Only her back could be seen. Lin Fei rubbed his chin. A strong woman really has a keen sense of discovery. She can even see this. Lin Fei did have a plan. Dragon King, you can bring them in. Not long after, 2 familiar people arrived. Why are you 2 here? Lin Fei was quite surprised. The commander of the City of Chaos was really thoughtful to arrange for them to come here. We are indebted to the Grand Commander for thinking so highly of us and arranging for us to become the liaison. We still have to thank fellow Taoist Di Tian for this. Xiong Lai had a complacent look on his face. It was the Xiong Lai brothers. These two brothers were lucky. They were rewarded by Lin Fei, got a ruler's weapon, and were valued by the commander. Their status in the city, Lord's Mansion, had improved a lot. Actually, I like to talk to familiar people. The Xiong Lai brothers didn't dare to look down on Lin Fei anymore. They were much more careful with their words. This was someone who killed the goddess of beauty. He could kill them easily. The two of them didn't dare to put on airs and immediately turned to business. Lin Fei didn't mind. This was the first time they traded in Primal Chaos City, and they didn't use top-quality saint stones to trade, but something else. This is Grand Mist energy. The Great Commander said that you will understand its significance once you see it. Vicious took out a white bottle. Thank you. No one knew better than Lin Fei how valuable Grand Mist energy was. We can use this to trade as well. That was because primordial chaos could also be transformed into divinity points. It was much better than the supreme grade Saint Stone vein. It was Lin Fei's first transaction, so he was very casual. Wasn't it just a low-grade divine artifact? He had plenty of them. However, it was different in Xiong Lai's eyes. When they saw a group of inferior grade god artifacts, the divine might they gave off scared them. They had never seen so many inferior grade god artifacts in their lives. The aura of each inferior grade god artifact was enough to make them feel fear. It was an extremely terrifying low-grade divine artifact. After the transaction was completed, the two of them used the celestial talisman to leave. Great Commander, after the first transaction, I don't know if you can resist a second transaction. At that time, what you want won't be up to you. Lin Fei revealed a proud smile. After the Lu family ancestor left, he immediately arranged for a group of people to come over. Lu Ziwe chose a location in Great Metropolis World to build a Tianyun Tower. With the resources provided by Lin Fei, it didn't take long for a magnificent building to appear in Great Metropolis World. Lin Fei came a few times and then disappeared without a trace. The Lu family ancestor also fulfilled his promise and used the influence of the Lu family's Tianyun Tower to start spreading the news. Although the Tianyun Tower's influence wasn't as great as a top merchant association, it still had some influence in the endless territories. When the news spread, everyone was shocked. Auctioning inferior grade god artifacts? What a joke. This thing had always been in the hands of a top merchant association. What right did a second-rate merchant association like the Tianyun Tower have to auction it? Moreover, it wasn't as simple as just one or two. The Tianyun Tower instantly became lively, regardless of whether people believed it or not. The news spread very quickly in the endless territories. Everyone knew that there was a merchant association called the Tianyun Tower that wanted to auction high-grade ruler weapons, top-grade ruler weapons, battle armor, inferior grade god artifacts, and that they were going to sell perfect grade god artifacts. The news spread like wildfire. The Tianyun Tower was immediately pushed into the limelight. It was impossible for people to not know about it, especially something like inferior grade god artifacts. It was better to believe that they existed than not. Who knew if they really did exist? If they missed this opportunity, there wouldn't be another one. Many factions started to inquire about the authenticity of the Tianyun Tower's news. Even the top merchant association didn't care. A second-rate merchant association like the Tianyun Tower could only come up with such a boring excuse to deceive people. Even they didn't dare to open such a big mouth. The former was easy. Inferior grade god artifacts weren't cabbages on the street. They could get as many as they wanted. Even their top merchant association auctioned them one by one. The quality was quite average. The Tianyun Tower dared to sell perfect grade god artifacts. Wasn't this a slap in the face to their top merchant association? The Tianyun Tower's news only spread the treasures being auctioned and the rest of the days. They didn't mention where the auction would be held. This caused many people to curse. and they also remembered it in their hearts. The old ancestor of the Lu family was excited and troubled at the same time. In a secret room of the Lu family, the four old ancestors sat together. Outrageous! The World Merchant Association is robbing us by force. Lu Bufan read the contents of the Jade Scroll and couldn't help but be furious. The World Merchant Association is really too much. They actually dared to buy all our ruler weapons at such a low price. Isn't this clearly bullying our Lu family? Lu Iran said angrily. After the news of the auction spread, the reputation of the Lu family skyrocketed. Almost everyone knew about them. The reason was simple. It was because of this luxurious auction. Not long after the news spread, they ran into trouble. The World Merchant Association, one of the top merchant associations, actually sent people to the Lu family to buy their ruler weapons. The price they offered was cabbages, and they didn't want to refuse. This angered the four old ancestors of the Lu family quite a bit. The World Merchant Association was indeed bullying them. Lu Yijing's expression wasn't good either. The World Merchant Association was threatening their Lu family. Even though the Tianyan Tower was influential, they were still too weak to go against the World Merchant Association, because the World Merchant Association was too powerful. Chapter 17:17. Why are they outside? How are we supposed to reply? We can't just agree to them. Furthermore, we don't have anything on hand. Lu Bufan punched the air in anger. Lu family's Tianyan building was one of the big merchant associations. Being forced by Tianyan merchants, he couldn't take it lying down. Let's just tell them directly. Lu Yijing's furrowed brows relaxed. Someone will deal with this. There's no need for us to rush. You think Di Tian will make a move? Primal Chaos City, Lu family. Lu family's living room. At this moment, there was a person sitting with a huge blade and a golden horse. Behind him stood 6 dominators with sharp auras. Lord Deacon, do you think Lu family will agree? They have been in there for so long. There should be a result by now. A middle-aged man standing at the side said, Lu family will definitely agree. In front of Tianyan Merchant Association, Lu family is nothing. Although we can't reach Primal Chaos City, the branches in other territories can't withstand our attacks. We can destroy Tianyan building in an instant. Lu Yijing is a smart person. He will definitely make a choice. The person called Deacon said confidently, Lord Deacon is right. Lu family is indeed not our Tianyan Merchant Association's match. Lu Yijing is here. Lu Yijing walked in alone. Deacon Qiu, sorry for making you wait. Deacon Qiu said indifferently, these are small matters. I wonder what President Lu has thought about it. As long as you sell the things on hand to us, we will have a long-term cooperation in the future. Tianyan building will also benefit greatly. Benefit? Only you can say that. Lu Yijing cursed Tianyan Merchant Association's shamelessness in his heart. How could they say such words? Did they really think he was a 3-year-old child? Now wasn't the time to shed all pretense of cordiality. Lu Yijing could only bear with it for now. I'm afraid I will have to disappoint Deacon Qiu, Lu Yijing said. Deacon Qiu was expressionless. His tone sunk. President Lu, did you not come to a conclusion? It's not like you don't know the influence of Tianyan Merchant Association. Lu Yijing smiled. Deacon Qiu, you don't know about this matter. Don't think that our Lu family is auctioning a low-grade god artifact. In reality, we don't have any low-grade god artifact. Lu family is just helping others run errands. If the things are really ours, Lu family will hand them over. Deacon Qiu didn't expect this to happen. There was someone else behind this. Who are you working for? This information was too important, and Deacon Qiu believed that Lu Yijing definitely wouldn't dare to lie to him. With the World Merchant Association's strength, they would be able to find out sooner or later. Lu Yijing gritted his teeth. Great Metropolis, Celestial World, Invincible Palace, Di Tian. Di Tian? Where did he come from? Deacon Xiao was at a loss. My lord, isn't Di Tian just that guy who caused trouble on the Divine Mountain? He's just a small fry who has achieved success. Deacon Xiao felt that this name sounded familiar. So it was this guy. Isn't he dead? Tianxia Chamber of Commerce had a huge influence. The secrets of the upper echelons were not a secret to the Chamber of Commerce. Naturally, they knew some things about the sacred mountain. Moreover, Tianxia Chamber of Commerce also had people participating. He isn't dead. After he came back, he came to our Lu family. Our Lu family is a big chamber of commerce, and we weren't willing to agree at first. However, under the threat of the other party, our Tianyin Pavilion agreed to advertise. 1 month later, Di Tian will hold his first auction in the Great Sky World. Deacon Xiao's mission was very simple. It would be best if he could get the item back. Even if he couldn't, he had to find out what happened. This situation had to be suppressed. Is what you said true? I can guarantee it with my head. Big brother, what do we need to do now? After Deacon Xiao left, the 3 old ancestors appeared in the living room. Bufan, inform Ziwa that Tianxia Chamber of Commerce has set their eyes on us. Maybe the other 2 chambers of commerce will also set their eyes on us. Then, ask her if we can start the next step. I'll do it right away. Deacon Xiao left Primal Chaos Ancient Nation with his men. On an uninhabited star, he tore open an immortal talisman and opened a space-time door. He brought his men in. When he reappeared, he was already in a territory Senfu. Deacon Xiao arrived at the main hall of the Senfu. Young master, I'm back. Deacon Xiao said respectfully. He didn't have any of the arrogance he had in the Lu family. How's the investigation? There are some clues. Deacon Xiao reported the matter in detail and added some of his own conclusions. Di Tian? Interesting. No wonder the people from the 8 sects went to Great Heaven Realm. So Di Tian didn't die. The people present were very young. Their eyes were sharp and unruly. Deacon Xiao didn't dare to look at the young master's eyes. Young master, what should we do next? Deacon Xiao said in a low voice. Should we inform the people in the Chamber of Commerce and arrange for experts to attack Great Heaven Realm? No rush. I have my own plans. However, you need to arrange people to watch the other 2 chambers of commerce. I want to know their every move. The Tianyin Pavilion's auction of the low-grade divine artifact was still fermenting. As long as one was in the territory, they all knew about this. The Tianyin Pavilion came aggressively and had more influence than the 3 chambers of commerce. While everyone was doubting and guessing, the Tianyin Pavilion released another shocking piece of news. It was like throwing a heavy bomb on the calm water. The Tianyin Pavilion wasn't the real organizer. They were just running errands. The real auction was in Great Heaven Realm. A few simple words caused a commotion. In the beginning, no one knew where Great Heaven Realm was. They had never heard of this name. However, in the eyes of the upper echelons, they knew this place. Wasn't it that little guy's place? Could it be that this was also caused by that little guy? Following that, more and more news spread. It also involved Di Tian. It was rumored that the low-grade divine artifact came from Di Tian, and there were quite a few of them. Then it was revealed that Di Tian had a battle for it. Once again, it was shocking. In the auction a month later, everyone was ready to make a move. Regardless of whether they were intentional or not, at this moment, they all knew about the Great Heaven Realm, as well as the somewhat mysterious Di Tian. After all, the matters on the Divine Mountain were sealed, and only the upper echelons knew about them. The lower echelons didn't know about this at all. Regardless of whether it was true or not, many people ran to join in the fun. For a time, a large number of people swarmed to Great Heaven Realm. Most of the people they met were on their way to Great Heaven Realm. Everyone was paying attention. Chapter 1718. A month later, Great Metropolis World, low-grade god artifact, was auctioned. This news caused the entire region to explode. Whether it was true or not, they had to go take a look first. As long as one wasn't an idiot, they could tell that this wasn't a small matter but a huge matter. There were also a bunch of people who went to take advantage of the situation. A random great metropolis world appeared out of nowhere and even dared to auction a low-grade god artifact. This was equivalent to provoking the 3 top merchant associations, and they definitely wouldn't let the auction succeed. This would have a huge impact on their status. Conflict was inevitable. These people were all there to reap benefits. A small, unknown place, a person they weren't familiar with, in the end, they would still suffer. Many Celestials headed to Great Metropolis World. These bandits were overjoyed. They would go out to rob every 2 to 3 days, and each time they would reap huge rewards. This had never happened in the past. These places were secluded and normally no one would pass by. The good days of the bandits didn't last for a few days. They met a steel plate and were cleaned up in just a few moves. Some died, some were injured, and there were no more of them. Stop! Under another empty, starry sky, a bunch of bandits blocked a group of people. There were dozens of immortals blocking the people in front. They were arrogant and despotic. Hand over all your belongings, or we will kill you all. The leader was a 5-star ruler. He held a long blade, and a bloody aura surged into the sky. Who knew how many people he had killed to have such a bloody aura? A bunch of small bandits actually dare to come out to rob. You are just asking to die. Huh. A terrifying aura surged into the sky. With a wave of his finger, more than 50 people were immobilized. With a wave of his finger, all of them exploded. Not a single one of them survived. Damn it! Why are there so many bandits popping out recently? Black Saint frowned. Although they couldn't even take a single blow, it still made him unhappy. After leaving the sect, Black Saint had been on his way to Great Metropolis World for some time. The two of them had a long journey, and even a heavenly god needed time. If he had a battle fort, he would be much faster. Unfortunately, it was limited. Empyrean god Blacksage flicked his finger, causing everything in front of him to dissipate. Even the things that had fallen down were disdainfully ignored. Lin Fei, I'm coming soon. I wonder if your strength has improved. Don't be easily defeated by me. Black Sage sneered. He had traveled tens of thousands of kilometers just to kill Lin Fei. Empyrean god Blacksage didn't feel that this was a loss of face. This hateful fellow must be eliminated. And news from the sect? Did something happen? Heavenly god Black, Sacred, suddenly frowned and took out a jade talisman. A voice sounded out from within. Black Sacred, where are you? On the way, Empyrean god Blacksage said. We're almost at the great metropolis heaven. That's good. There's a piece of news that I need to tell you. You can go and deal with it. Your opponent, Dition, also known as Lin Fei, is preparing to hold an auction in the near future. It will involve the auction of a low-rank god artifact. It's best if you can investigate it and find out the origin of the low-rank god artifact. Him, auctioning a low-rank god artifact? Could it be a rumor? Empyrean god Blacksage didn't quite believe it. Even he only had 2 low-rank god artifacts, and both of them were bestowed to him by the higher-ups. What did Lin Fei do to deserve a low-rank god artifact? Was he just messing with everyone? I will investigate this. Empyrean god Blacksage didn't take it to heart. He was Empyrean god, and Lin Fei could still turn things around. By the way, the people from the 8 major sects and the 7 overlords are all there. Even the 3 top merchant groups will be involved. You have to be careful. One more thing. Our spies in the Bliss Palace reported that the heavenly beauty goddess, who ascended a little later than you, was killed, and her godhead was taken. Empyrean god Blacksage's eyes gleamed. Dead. That guy is dead. I have to defeat him myself. Who killed the heavenly beauty goddess? The heavenly beauty goddess died in the city of chaos. As for who killed her, we don't know yet. It might be the great commander of the city, Lord's mansion. The jade talisman hesitated for a moment before a voice sounded. You have to be careful. Don't fail miserably. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. Empyrean god Blacksage put away the jade talisman. Thinking back to what was said, he understood why there were so many bandits recently. Taoist Blacksage, how have you been? Just as Empyrean god Blacksage was thinking, a figure appeared not far away. The figure cupped his hands and greeted him. Taoist Lishan, it's you. The two of them chatted for a while. Soon, they went their separate ways. This also made the two of them realize that the people from the other sects were about to arrive at the great metropolis world. If they were to interfere, things would get troublesome. Similarly, on the way to the great metropolis world, 3 huge warships sped past them, charging forward without any scruples. Anyone who was a step too slow was basically smashed into pieces. Those who survived were covered in cold sweat and could only watch as the warships left. Who are those people? Don't they have eyes? Someone was unhappy. Soon, someone said something. They are from the Wind and Cloud Merchant Group. Fight them if you have the guts. With just one sentence, everyone dared not speak anymore. They looked at each other and then ran away. How much longer until we reach the great metropolis world? In the middle of the warship, the middle-aged man sitting at the head of the table was expressionless, and he gave off an indescribably terrifying pressure. This person was the vice president of the Wind and Cloud Merchant Group, Tianyang. We will arrive in 10 days. Someone replied carefully. Too slow. Give the order. I want the fastest speed, the faster the better. Understood. The person retreated. Tianyang wasn't satisfied with this time, but he knew that this was the fastest the warship could go. If there was a mobile battle fortress, it could be shortened. It's good that Tian isn't dead. No matter what, we have to get the battle fortress. Also, we can't let go of the low-grade god artifact he has. If he knows what's good for him, we can keep him alive. Tianyang's status was very high, and he had the right to say this. The Wind and Cloud Merchant Group was one of the 3 largest merchant groups, and as the vice president he had immense power. This time, Tianyang's mission was very important. He had to take down Tian before everyone else. For this, he brought a group of elites to take down Tian as soon as possible. President, the people from the World Merchant Group and the Hell Heaven Merchant Group are on their way. They are only a day or 2 behind us, and will catch up soon. Another person reported. Should we get rid of the tail? Chapter 1719. The previously unknown great metropolis world became famous. Less than 10 days before the grand auction, people from all walks of life arrived. Whether they were famous or not, or powerful, they all came to join in the fun. Fortunately, Great Metropolis World had merged with a small world and a mid-level world, causing its territory to expand imperceptibly. When the outsiders came in, they immediately felt the dense, immortal chi and were instantly shocked. At first, they thought that Great Metropolis World was remote and there was nothing to attract people. Once they arrived, they realized that this place was not ordinary. Many people immediately found grotto heavens and blessed lands to cultivate. If they missed this village, there would not be another one. The others all gathered in the area where the Tianyan Tower was. The huge area belonged to the Tianyan Tower. At this moment, outside the Tianyan Tower, there were many Senfu buildings surrounding the Tianyan Tower. These Senfu buildings were all from Invincible Palace. The Senfu buildings were big and small. As outsiders came in, the Senfu buildings were all turned into places to stay. The price was not cheap. One night needed 100,000 saint stones. People without saint stones? Sorry, they could only stay outside. Some people had ideas about the Tianyan Tower, but just as they were about to act on the idea, they were wiped out by the dragon race. The guards of the dragon clan shocked everyone. Each and every one of the dragons armed to the teeth gave everyone a good scare. Since when did the dragon race come to great metropolis world and become the guards of the Tianyin Tower? The dragon race kept coming and going, all armed together. The dragon race had become nouveau riche. Originally, their strength was about the same, but compared to the dragon race armed to the teeth, there was a huge difference in strength. In 3 days, they killed more than 1,000 troublemakers, and they were all killed in a short period of time. For a moment, the surroundings of the Tianyin Tower calmed down, and everyone became well-behaved. Even 7- and 8-star sovereigns became well-behaved, let alone those who were not strong enough. The Tianyin Tower rarely had peaceful days. This is the great metropolis world. Heavenly God Black Sage, who had rushed all the way, finally arrived at the great metropolis world. Looking at this remote world, he laughed coldly and plunged into the great metropolis world. Ever since he met Heavenly God Lishan, Heavenly God Black Sage sprinted all the way, his handsome face showing a trace of fatigue, afraid of falling behind. It seemed that Heavenly God Lishan was right behind him. Upon entering the great metropolis celestial world, a dense immortal energy wafted about. Heavenly God Blacksage was slightly startled. How much money had been invested to create such a dense immortal energy? Lin Fei, get out here. Rumble. Empyrean God Blacksage's voice boomed like thunder, echoing throughout the entire great metropolis heaven. Everyone's faces changed. The aura of a heavenly god was too powerful. In the invincible palace, Lin Fei was lying down lazily. This was one of the few leisurely days he had since his return. They're finally here. They're slower than I thought. Lin Fei opened his eyes, and in a flash he disappeared from the invincible palace. My defeated opponent, you still have the nerve to come after losing to me last time. Don't you know how embarrassing it is? Empyrean God Blacksage didn't hold this tiny world in any regard. If Lin Fei didn't come out, Empyrean God Blacksage was prepared to destroy the entire great metropolis heaven. Given his power, he could easily accomplish this. By then, he wouldn't have to worry about Lin Fei not appearing. His mocking voice reverberated throughout the entire great metropolis heaven. Empyrean God Blacksage's exhausted face flashed with anger. This shameless fellow actually dared to say it in front of everyone. Being robbed and defeated on the God Mountain was something that Empyrean God Blacksage would never forget. Now that it was said out loud, how could Empyrean God Blacksage take it? Empyrean God Blacksage's anger wasn't small. After being provoked by Lin Fei, he couldn't control his anger. Bastard, I'm going to kill you. A terrifying fist blasted towards the source of the voice. The entire world trembled. After all, the strength of a heavenly god was too strong. A world wouldn't be able to withstand such energy waves. Not good. The strength of a heavenly god is too strong. Great metropolis, heaven, can't withstand such power. I can't fight here, or the entire world will be destroyed. This fist blasted over, causing the entire world to tremble. Lin Fei sensed that something was wrong. He realized that he had neglected a problem. His world wasn't a territory, but a remote world. What maintained the stability of the world was the nucleus of the planet. He took out the heavenly deity battle blade and casually slashed. Come and kill me if you have the ability. Lin Fei used his saber to shatter the attack and rushed out. If you have the guts, don't leave. Empyrean God Blacksage chased after him, thinking that Lin Fei was afraid of him and was preparing to flee. Outside the world, under a starry sky, Lin Fei stood there with his head held high. After this matter is over, I'm going to set up a grand formation that can stop heavenly gods from destroying this world. Lin Fei silently mused. Lin Fei truly hadn't paid attention to this before. If it wasn't for that punch earlier, Lin Fei really wouldn't have noticed the changes in the world. Why aren't you running anymore, Lin Fei? Weren't you very arrogant the last time? Empyrean God Blacksage chased after him. He used his divine sense to scan the surroundings. After discovering that there were no ambushes nearby, he became even less concerned. This was especially so when he used his divine sense to scan and discovered that Lin Fei hadn't entered the heavenly god realm yet. As long as Lin Fei didn't enter the heavenly god realm, Empyrean god Blacksage had nothing to worry about. Lin Fei stood with his hands clasped behind his back. Why should I leave? Do you really think that you're awesome just because you entered the heavenly god realm? From the way I see it, it's still the same as before. On the other hand, what good stuff did you bring this time? This is the money you earned by risking your life. Empyrean god Blacksage had truly never seen someone as arrogant as Lin Fei. He didn't get angry, but laughed instead. You speak so boldly and confidently. Just don't kneel down and beg for mercy later. Black Mystic Hand. Empyrean god Blacksage raised his hand and sent out a pure black palm imprint. He casually took out a low-grade god artifact, a jade-green longsword. The longsword slashed out, and a sword light pierced toward Lin Fei's forehead. Aren't you very powerful? Let's see how you block this. After becoming a heavenly god, Empyrean god Blacksage's strength had increased more than tenfold. For example, this sword strike of his had drawn upon the energy of heaven and earth. Its might was terrifying and could kill a half-step heavenly god expert with a single sword strike. Empyrean god Blacksage wanted to heavily injure Lin Fei with a single sword strike. In his eyes, Lin Fei was extremely valuable. He would first heavily injure Lin Fei, then capture him and interrogate him for a low-grade god artifact. In addition, he would devour Lin Fei's 18 clones and use them to push his strength to the next level. Perhaps he might even be able to push his strength to the 2-star heavenly god realm. This sort of temptation was something that Empyrean god Blacksage couldn't resist. Empyrean god Blacksage had already treated Lin Fei as his prey. Boom! Just as the sword was about to pierce through Lin Fei's forehead from the darkness, an attack shot toward Empyrean god Blacksage's back, forcing him to give up on his attack. He turned around and sent out a palm strike. Who is it? Scram out here. Taoist Blacksage, your reaction speed is excellent. Beneath the starry sky, a young master waving a fan walked out and swaggered out. Chapter 1721. P.S. I woke up early in the morning and realized that I made a mistake. I'm really sorry, everyone. I didn't mean to repeat it. The VIP chapter has been changed. Everyone can read it again. There shouldn't be any need to pay. If you think it's too troublesome, you can read it in the works-related section. It's also free. The 5 heavenly gods fought. Their divine auras sealed off a large area of the starry sky, making it seem like a forbidden area. The immortals of the great celestial realm were terrified from the depths of their souls. Spectate? Forget it. Once they went out, they would be pressed down by the divine aura. And this was in the best-case scenario. The worst-case scenario was that they would be killed by the aftershocks. The 9-Stars sovereign was not weak. He did not go out, but he released his divine sense and vomited blood. His divine sense was damaged, and it would take a long time for him to recover. Golden Feather and the others were fighting 3 against 2. They were locked in a fierce battle. They knew how important Lin Fei was. He was equivalent to a rare treasure. When they heard that he was not dead, they wanted to capture Lin Fei and take his clone to increase their own strength. Heavenly God Black Saint and Heavenly God Li Shan decisively gave up on their differences and chose to work together. If they did not work together, they would lose their chance. They might even have to return in a sorry state. In the end, Golden Feather and the others would benefit. If they captured Lin Fei, the gap in strength between them would increase, and it would be harder to catch up in the future. The 2 of them did not hold back. They released their ultimate moves right from the start. Terrifying auras came one after another, and the power of heaven and earth was incessantly stirred. This was peak combat strength. Are you guys that interesting? Have you asked for my permission? Do you really think I'm a product in your hands? You can have whoever you want. A sudden voice interrupted their battle. Both sides retreated. You actually came out. Empyrean god Golden Feather's eyes turned cold. How is that possible? Aren't you bound and trapped inside the cage? The 10th young master and heavenly god Li Sheng were also shocked. Just now, they had taken out 2 treasures and were confident that they could trap Lin Fei. Now, what was going on? Just as they were fighting to the death, Lin Fei, who had been trapped like a turtle in a jar, actually came out. He looked completely fine, as if he was mocking them for overestimating themselves. Heavenly God Black Saint laughed mockingly. It's great now. You haven't caught him yet. Let's see what else you can do. Lin Fei is very cunning. Let's see who's more capable. Heavenly God Li Shan chuckled. Empyrean God Goldfeather and the other 2 Empyrean gods all had uneasy looks on their faces. Previously, Empyrean God Goldfeather and the others had relied on the fact that they had trapped Lin Fei to gain the upper hand. They didn't have to worry about any accidents. As long as they could defeat Empyrean God Black Saint, everything would be fine. Now that Lin Fei had appeared, it would be strange if Empyrean God Goldfeather and the others could remain at ease. Fellow Taoist Li Shan, you're right. I'm a very slippery person. You've been fighting both openly and covertly, but in the end, you still end up with nothing. What a waste of effort. Lin Fei said casually, not showing the slightest bit of concern on his face. 10th young master, Kong Sheng, Lin Fei is a cunning man. He might be up to no good again. Let's take him down immediately. Golden Feather's face was full of hostility. All right. The 10th young master was the fastest, icebound 10,000 miles. Its power was even greater than before, and white ice swept out continuously. Barrier. Empyrean God Kong Sheng retracted his black barrier and once again enveloped Lin Fei, turning it into a world of its own. Empyrean God Black Saint and Empyrean God Li Shan didn't make a move. They planned to sit back and watch the show. With them here, Empyrean God Goldfeather and the others could forget about taking down Lin Fei. As long as they made a move, Empyrean God Goldfeather and the others would be distracted. 3 Empyrean gods against 1 me. You guys really think highly of me, Lin Fei. Lin Fei suddenly laughed loudly. Since that's the case, how can I disappoint you guys? Whoosh! Whoosh! The attacks of the 3 Empyrean gods directly entered the black hole. Lin Fei was completely unscathed, although the distance between them seemed to be very close. Their attacks were unable to land on Lin Fei's body. Damn it, this guy has a rare spatial treasure on him. He can move around in the 10,000 layered space and weaken our attacks. Empyrean God Goldfeather said hoarsely. This kind of treasure was hard to come by. There were layers of space. As long as a person kept moving through space, their attacks would be unable to lock onto their target. Naturally, they wouldn't be able to hit their target. What are you afraid of? The 10th young master summoned a large amount of ice and charged toward the black hole. Empyrean God Black Saint and Empyrean God Li Shan's expressions also darkened slightly. Based on their memories after awakening, they recognized that Lin Fei's move was extraordinary. Even they couldn't locate his position for a moment. They couldn't use this kind of technique. It wasn't difficult to activate hundreds of layers of space around them. However, they couldn't do something like Lin Fei's endless layers of space. The 3 of you really disappoint me. Lin Fei just stood there and shook his head in disappointment. Empyrean God Goldfeather charged into the black hole and shattered the layers of space. However, he still couldn't catch up to Lin Fei. He seemed to be right in front of him, but he couldn't do anything about it. This kind of pain was the most unbearable. Lin Fei, you coward! Come out and fight me if you can. Empyrean God Goldfeather roared. They didn't expect Lin Fei to use this move. Lin Fei chuckled. Continue. Didn't you guys plan this for a long time? Throw whatever treasures you have at me. Stop blabbering. You're an Empyrean god after all. Don't you have any shame? At this time, only Lin Fei dared to belittle the Empyrean gods. Lin Fei was just bullying them. Actually, this was something that Lin Fei had comprehended from cultivating the reversal of time and space. He could change space at will. It consumed a lot of divine power, but it was a first-class technique. Empyrean God Goldfeather and the others naturally couldn't see the secret behind it. They mistakenly thought that he was using spatial treasures. Boom, boom, boom. The attacks were still ongoing. The power of heaven and earth also became exceptionally violent. Lin Fei, who was standing there motionlessly, was not injured at all. Just by relying on this, he was in an invincible position. This caused the three heavenly deities to be extremely furious. The three of them attacked continuously for an hour, but they couldn't even touch a hair. A sense of helplessness welled up in their hearts. Last time, when they fought against Lin Fei, they still had a chance. Now he was just standing there, and they couldn't do anything to him. Didn't that mean that they would never be able to defeat Lin Fei in this lifetime? You guys should be tired. I'm also tired. I just so happen to need divine cores. I'll take all 3 of your divine cores. Lin Fei said, heroically. Time slow. Lin Fei charged out of the black hole and unleashed a terrifying technique. Whoosh! The 3 of them felt a burst of power envelop them. Their attacks instantly slowed down. Moreover, they slowed down infinitely. Their arms extended outward as if they hadn't moved at all. Not good. Lin Fei charged in with his Empyrean God saber. The saber slashed down on Empyrean God Kong Sheng. Ka. Empyrean God Kong Sheng didn't have time to form a divine armor, and his flesh was instantly sliced apart. He could only watch as the terrifying low-grade divine weapon slashed down on his body. Don't you like to ambush me? 18 clones come out. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Chapter 17:22. The 18 clones attacked at the same time, and the sounds of battle rang out. Under the effect of time slowing down, the 18 low-grade god artifacts slashed their bodies with divine might. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The 3 Empyrean gods could only watch as the attacks landed on their bodies. They couldn't block them at all. They didn't even launch their attacks just now, and they were extending at an extremely slow speed. Crack, crack, crack. Bang, bang, bang. The attacks of the 18 clones were extremely ferocious. The priceless, low-grade god artifacts on their bodies couldn't withstand a few rounds of attacks, and they all exploded. In terms of defense, their low-grade god artifacts were only average. Moreover, under the effect of the time technique, one was slow, one was fast, and the other was slow. More importantly, the low-grade god artifacts of the 18 clones were perfect, and they could easily break through ordinary god artifacts. Impossible. How could Lin Fei have such a high-level technique? It's over. The 3 were extremely panic-stricken. Yet, under the effect of the power, they couldn't react in time. They still had the same disdainful look on their faces, but only they knew what kind of opponent they had encountered. He was even more terrifying than they had imagined. The 18 clones were all perfect, low-grade god artifacts. Every time they attacked, they would shatter a part of their opponent's body. Even their powerful defenses couldn't withstand the attacks. Lin Fei turned to Empyrean God Blacksage and Empyrean God Lishan. Since you've seen my secret, there's no need for you to leave. Time cage! Lin Fei laughed loudly as he used the time technique again. A large amount of divine power was used up. Not good. Run. Empyrean God Blacksage and Empyrean God Lishan originally wanted to watch the tigers fight and be the final victor, but the scene in front of them gave them quite a fright. The 18 ferocious clones had the aura of half-step Empyrean gods, but their attacks were truly terrifying. Low-grade god artifacts were destroyed. Low-grade god artifacts were destroyed. What was there left to play? Only now did they realize that Lin Fei was far more terrifying than they had imagined. This was a true ferocious tiger, and they even vainly tried to capture Lin Fei with the strength of a heavenly deity. Lin Fei's technique is definitely a top-notch technique. Let's let him exhaust his energy first, then we'll deal with him later. Heavenly God Black Sacred was still calm despite his fear. Heavenly God Lishan was very smart and powerful. Naturally, he could see how terrifying Lin Fei was. 18 ferocious clones, all wearing divine armor and low-grade divine weapons. Apart from that, there were also low-grade divine weapons with additional attributes. Lin Fei was simply not alive. When Lin Fei looked over, their hearts trembled. He was going to deal with them. The two of them reacted quickly, fleeing to the left and right. The idea was quite good, but how could they know how powerful the time cage was? With a thought, Lin Fei formed a time cage. Bang bang! The two of them crashed into the time cage. Damn it, what is this? Why? My time has slowed down. One of them was shocked, while the other attacked. Suddenly, they realized that everything they did was slowed down. A power enveloped their bodies, and they were unable to block it. Lin Fei, what are you playing at? Panic flashed in Heavenly God Black Sacred's eyes. The situation before him made him unable to understand why Lin Fei, who had not become a heavenly god, was so strong. These were 5 heavenly gods, and they were suppressed in the blink of an eye. What was going on? Or were they too weak and couldn't withstand a single blow from him? Nothing much. I just want to use your god sparks. Lin Fei smiled. Hua! Lin Fei shot forward and arrived in the time cage. He charged in front of Heavenly God Black Sacred and slapped his face. Pa! Heavenly God Black Sacred wanted to block, but the slap sent him flying. He opened his mouth and spat out countless teeth. Originally, if you didn't come, I wouldn't have done anything to you. But since you are so vengeful, you can only blame yourself for seeking death. I will also use your god sparks. Just treat it as a mental loss. Lin Fei's fist smashed onto Heavenly God Dark Sage's face again. His face blossomed and turned bright red. You dare! Heavenly God Black Sacred's armor caved in. Why not? Lin Fei took out the Heavenly God Warblade. With a flash of blade light, Heavenly God Black Sacred was sent flying. A large hole appeared on his armor, and the blade intent shattered his flesh. Come out! Lin Fei slashed out with his saber once more. The long river of saber light coiled around Heavenly God Dark Sacred's body, and the open wound became the entry point. His flesh and divine body instantly crumbled apart, constantly being crushed by the saber light. Our demon mystic sect will not let you off so easily. This attack was very powerful. Lin Fei didn't give him a chance to break free. Under the effect of the time cage, he suppressed Heavenly God Black Sacred's mobility. Heavenly God Black Sacred roared in rage. Bang! Before his divine power could supply his flesh and blood, with a bang, Heavenly God Black Sacred's head exploded. His flesh and blood floated in the starry sky. Within his flesh and blood, a god spark floated. Lin Fei, you will die a horrible death. You better release me immediately. Lin Fei grabbed out with his hand, and the god spark landed in his hand. Heavenly God Black Sacred's malevolent face appeared, threatening Lin Fei. You better wait until your next life. Lin Fei ignored Heavenly God Black Sacred's words and kept the god spark. He was overjoyed. Another god spark was in his hands. Heavenly God Lishan, you didn't expect such a day would come, right? Heavenly God Lishan's divine power was still unable to shatter the power in his body. Seeing Heavenly God Black Sacred's body being destroyed, he cried out, You are actually a time controller, so you also know about time controllers. So, the 18 clones flew back. 3 god sparks landed on his body. Unpleasant sounds kept coming from the god sparks. Heavenly God Goldfeather, you have lost, Lin Fei said, and kept the 3 god sparks. The moment the 18 clones appeared, and with time slowing down, the 3 heavenly gods' fates were sealed. It was impossible for them to escape from his hands. Lin Fei did not care much about their threats. As long as he went back and destroyed the divine souls inside, he would obtain a large amount of experience points. If he was lucky, he might even obtain a God King fragment. Taoist Lin Fei, I have lost this time. I admit defeat. Heavenly God, Li Shan, no longer had the arrogance from before. As long as the God spark was not destroyed, the divine souls would not be destroyed. This was useless in front of a time controller like Lin Fei. If he had not seen a time controller in action before, Heavenly God Li Shan would not have thought that Lin Fei was a 1 in a million time controllers. With his control over time, it would be very easy for him to crush them. So you also know to admit defeat. I have no interest in people like you. Maybe if I let you go, you will spread my background. So it's better for me to kill you. At least I can get a divine deity. He raised the heavenly god saber. Chapter 17:23. Speaking of which, heavenly god Li Shan felt very sullen. He actually encountered such a thing. It wasn't easy for him to get a job, and he had finally advanced to the heavenly god realm. He was prepared to go all out and leave a good impression. But it was a pity that before the mission even started, he kicked an inconceivably huge iron plate. It was even more terrifying than he had imagined. More importantly, he was going to die. If he had known that Lin Fei was so powerful, he wouldn't have dared to come even if he had 100 guts. He would rather hide at the side and watch. Time controllers were existences that controlled time. A top-notch time technique could kill an expert of the same level, and it would be extremely easy. Offending anyone was fine, but not the controllers. They were the most terrifying. Heavenly God Li Shan had not only seen this, but he had also heard all sorts of rumors. He knew what kind of existences the controllers were, but to become a time controller, it was extremely difficult. Heavenly God Li Shan couldn't understand how Lin Fei could become a time controller. There might not even be 1 out of billions of people, but Lin Fei just happened to appear. Seeing Heavenly God Black Sage and the other heavenly gods get their divine bodies shattered, Heavenly God Li Shan didn't want to end up like this. He didn't want to die. If he didn't know how powerful Lin Fei was, Heavenly God Li Shan wouldn't care at all. Divine sparks weren't that easy to destroy. If they didn't send any news back, the people of the sect would know. It wouldn't be difficult for them to recover their physical bodies. If Lin Fei was a time controller, no matter how strong his divine sparks were, he would have ways to deal with him. For example, if their divine souls weren't strong enough, if they were used up in a short time, they would only be left with a pure divine spark. Heavenly God Li Shan didn't want to experiment. If he really died, his life would be completely over. I still think it's better to kill you. Lin Fei shook his head. Heavenly God Li Shan's body trembled, and he gave up on counterattacking. If you kill me, you will have 1 more powerful enemy, even an enemy of the sect. If you don't kill me, I can be of great help to you. I can even help you make arrangements in the lower worlds. Moreover, there isn't much hatred between us. Empyrean God Li Shan felt resentment towards Lin Fei. Behind the resentment was a form of greed. It was normal that his skills were inferior to others. Heavenly God Li Shan did not have a strong desire for revenge. He just wanted to capture Lin Fei so that he could refine Lin Fei's clone and use it to break through to the next realm. It was also a fast way for him to ascend. Heavenly God Li Shan didn't want to be killed at this moment. Although I don't know what use you have for godhoods, I can tell you that there is a place in this world that has a lot of godhoods that can completely satisfy your needs. It had to be said that Heavenly God Li Shan's words struck a chord in Lin Fei's heart. Godhood. Lin Fei needed godhood right now. It was just that he wasn't sure if the divine soul within the godhead existed or not. If it didn't exist, wouldn't it be useless? Heavenly God Li Shan continued, those godhoods were left behind from the war in the lower realms all those years ago. They were sealed by experts, and they will be completely open soon. With fellow Taoist strength, plundering those godhoods won't be a problem. Lin Fei contacted the little devil. How long can the divine soul within the godhood live? If I snatch it back, will it still be useful? Master, you don't have to worry about this. As long as it is a godhood, the divine soul within it will live for a very long time. It might even fall into a deep sleep to reduce the consumption of divine soul power. As long as Master snatches it back, you will gain something. Lin Fei understood. Yes, the divine soul within the godhood was very powerful. If it was killed for a short period of time, if one was lucky, the divine soul would survive. Master, you don't have to worry so much. After all, the godhood is a kind of energy crystal. Even if the divine soul is not present, it will still be very useful to Master. The little devil smiled. Very useful. What do you mean? Can you explain it more clearly? Lin Fei realized that the little devil was implying something and hurriedly asked. The little devil chuckled and said, I can't say it. If I say it, it won't be effective. Master, you only need to know that it will be very useful to you. Lin Fei thought, yes, the little devil won't lie to me. It's all for my own good. I just need to collect the godhood. With heavenly God Li Shan's strength, he wouldn't dare to lie. There must be a place like this. There's no need for him to lie to me. According to Lin Fei's original intention, he should kill all of them. Another godhood was good too. Lin Fei's mind was spinning rapidly. Should he kill Heavenly God Li Shan or not? Heavenly God Li Shan's face was very bitter. He was a dignified heavenly god and a top-notch expert in this world. Now he had to lower his head to a half-step heavenly god. It was a joke. Unfortunately, heavenly god Li Shan couldn't laugh. The other party was much more powerful than him. Now his life and death were in the other party's hands. The other party might be the controller of time. Even if the controller had reached the peak, he could still easily kill him. Heavenly God Li Shan could only hope that the other party would let him go on account of his usefulness. Apart from this, Heavenly God Li Shan didn't reject becoming a follower at all. Back in the upper realm, there were many experts who became followers. Their statuses kept rising, and their strength rose very quickly because someone was guiding them. For example, just now, Heavenly God Li Shan saw the 18 clones. They were all equipped with low-grade divine artifacts and other treasures. They were armed to the teeth and had all sorts of attributes. Even if he didn't have the time technique, if Heavenly God Li Shan had to face them, he would have to turn around and run. Fight? There was no way to fight. The difference was too big. Heavenly God Li Shan was very clear about the strength of the 18 clones. If they swarmed over, even a 2-star heavenly god would feel numb. The quality of the low-grade divine artifacts was very good. In comparison, the items on his body were like scrap metal. They could easily break through his defense. Even Heavenly God Li Shan couldn't have such luxurious equipment when he was up there. All in all, Heavenly God Li Shan couldn't find any advantage. He could only obediently admit defeat. If he could really become a follower, it might not be a bad thing. The controller of time was a powerful figure that even top experts had to pay attention to. Li Shan, you are very smart. You talked about something that I like. Moreover, I am also very interested in the upper realm. I can let you become a follower. After some research, Lin Fei still needed such a heavenly god. There were too few heavenly gods around him. It could be said that he didn't have a single one. Having a heavenly god overseeing the upper realm was still very beneficial. I am willing to become a follower. Heavenly God Li Shan heaved a sigh of relief. As long as he was alive, everything was fine. Under the witness of the Heavenly Tao's oath, Heavenly God Li Shan became Lin Fei's first heavenly god follower. If this spread out, everyone would probably be shocked and reevaluate Lin Fei. Let's go back. Chapter 1724. Using the time technique and space technique, these two top-notch techniques consumed divine power like flowing water. The 10 heavenly gods could not withstand this consumption. Lin Fei relied on the large number of divinity points in the system to persist. After using it once, Lin Fei had a deep understanding of the two top-notch bloodline techniques. The techniques were powerful, but they needed divine power to sustain them. Divinity points were still very important. Everything happened in the starry sky in a very short time. No one saw the whole process clearly, and the battle was already over. Whether it was the space technique or the time technique, they were both top-notch techniques. They were not things that ordinary immortals could peek at. The battle ended just like that. In great metropolis world, the pressure on everyone's heads disappeared. Many people were guessing the outcome of the battle. They wanted to go and see, but facing the terrifying pressure of the heavenly gods, they chose not to go, lest they got into trouble. Lin Fei returned to Invincible Palace. He sent heavenly god Li Shan aside and went into seclusion himself. Killing 4 heavenly gods was equivalent to offending 4 top-notch sects at one go. Lin Fei really had to prepare for the upcoming battle. As for offending 4 top-notch sects at one go, Lin Fei had nothing to be afraid of. With a top-notch technique in hand, Lin Fei also had a trump card. Lin Fei's return to seclusion shocked Dragon King and the others. When they saw heavenly god Li Shan, they immediately realized something. Their young master killed a heavenly god expert. In other words, he killed a heavenly god. They were not surprised at this result at all, as if they had expected this result. Otherwise, their young master would not be young master. They could only say that their luck was too bad. Great Metropolis World also had all kinds of guesses. Before they saw Lin Fei, no one dared to have any ideas. Those who had shown any signs of trouble once again quieted down. During this period, Lu Ziyue came a few times to try to see Lin Fei. In the end, he went into seclusion, but she was relieved. If Lin Fei was so easily killed, then he would not be Lin Fei. Lu Ziyue left just like that, preparing for the auction that was about to begin. Lin Fei did not stay in seclusion for long. Under the acceleration of time, it took less than 5 days for the outside world to come out. After coming out of seclusion, Lin Fei's aura was the same as before. However, when heavenly god Li Shan saw Lin Fei, he felt that Lin Fei's unfathomable strength was even more terrifying than before. Heavenly god Li Shan had every reason to believe that the reason Lin Fei's strength increased again after his seclusion might be related to the god spark. I've been in seclusion for the past few days. You've worked hard on the matters outside. The reason why Lin Fei went into seclusion the moment he returned was because heavenly god Li Shan was there. After all, the deterrence of a heavenly deity overseeing things was not as simple as it seemed. It was enough to deal with most matters. Not at all, not at all. Heavenly god Li Shan stopped thinking and didn't dare to think about it anymore. Lin Fei took out an inferior grade divine artifact and threw it to heavenly god Li Shan. This is an inferior grade divine artifact. Its quality should be better than yours. Use it yourself. Heavenly god Li Shan really didn't know what to do after becoming his follower. The Dragon King and the others were resistant to him, and he wouldn't lower his status to communicate with them. What to do had been bothering heavenly god Li Shan. However, he didn't expect that he would obtain an inferior grade divine artifact before doing much. With heavenly god Li Shan's foresight, he could tell at a glance that this inferior grade divine artifact was several times better than his. This was too extravagant and generous. A perfect grade, inferior grade divine artifact like this was simply a sparring match for ordinary 1-star heavenly gods. It was no wonder that the 18 fully armed clones could kill heavenly gods as easily as cutting melons and vegetables. It seemed like it was not bad to follow such a master. A perfect grade, inferior grade divine artifact was casually given to his subordinates. How many inferior grade divine artifacts did Lin Fei have? Suddenly, heavenly god Li Shan thought of something else. If the inferior grade divine artifact being auctioned was also of this quality, heavenly god Li Shan didn't dare to continue thinking about it. Perhaps it wouldn't be long before the inferior grade divine artifact being auctioned by Lin Fei would be the king in the entire territory. He would completely monopolize the trade of divine armors and battle suits in the territory. Such a monopoly, Lin Fei knew what Heavenly God Li Shan was thinking about. This was also what Lin Fei needed. After becoming a heavenly god, if one wanted to be strong, they would need powerful weapons and powerful defensive battle suits. And Lin Fei had all of these. Lin Fei used these to tell Heavenly God Li Shan that as long as he followed him, he would definitely have a good life in the future. Any smart person would know what to choose. Thank you, Master. Heavenly God Li Shan didn't hesitate and accepted the inferior grade divine artifact straightforwardly. I have very simple requirements for my subordinates. As long as they know how to do things, I won't mistreat them. In my eyes, talents are the most important. Inferior grade divine artifacts and armors are very precious in everyone's eyes, but in my eyes they are like cabbages. In the future, middle grade divine artifacts and high grade divine artifacts won't be a dream. Lin Fei said casually. Heavenly God Li Shan didn't doubt Lin Fei's words at all. Although the rewards from working for the ancestor were not bad, they were far inferior to what Lin Fei gave him. This was only an inferior grade divine artifact. Just like what he said, middle grade divine artifacts and high grade divine artifacts wouldn't be a problem in the future. Heavenly God Li Shan didn't dare to think about it. It was something that was too far away from him. I know what to do. Heavenly God Li Shan nodded with force, and a trace of ambition flashed in his eyes. Lin Fei wasn't afraid of his subordinates being ambitious. Those without ambition were useless. Lin Fei wasn't willing to see that. He didn't worry about those with ambition rebelling. When they grew stronger, Lin Fei's strength would have reached a height that they could only look up to. As long as they were stronger than them, they would be obedient. All right, I want to know, why did you come down from the higher realm? I am very interested in this. Tell me. Lin Fei was really curious about this. Heavenly God Li Shan had a new goal and didn't hide anything. We came down to strengthen the 8 great sections. We made the lower realm a cultivation ground for geniuses. We used it to transport geniuses to our sects. Heavenly God Li Shan explained. Lin Fei frowned and felt that something wasn't right. That's not right. No matter how talented the geniuses in the lower realm are, they can't be compared to the true gods in the higher realm. How can we talk about transporting geniuses? Lin Fei shook his head. Master, you might not know this. Those who can cultivate to the heavenly god realm are experts at the peak of the 9 stars ruler realm. They are all very talented. In the eyes of the sects, they are all worthy of being nurtured. Besides that, most importantly, the lower realm will give birth to 3,000 Son of God. They are our real goal this time. 3,000 Son of God, born in the lower realm. Chapter 1725. Lin Fei really didn't expect there to be such a secret. It sounded like they had a great background. 3,000 divine princes. One would know that they were amazing super geniuses. Any sect would pay great attention to them, let alone when they were already known. How could there be 3,000 divine princes in a place like the lower world? Heavenly God Li Shan explained in detail. Actually, this matter has been spread among the higher-ups. Whether it's true or not, no one knows. Rumor has it that there was a great battle in the lower world. Master, you should know that Han Dun was the instigator. The battle lasted for a long time and the lower world became a battlefield. Lin Fei quickly understood what was going on. At the end of the day, the primal chaos had opened up a battlefield in the lower realm. It had lasted for a very long time, and a large number of experts had perished in the lower realm. Powerful essence, chi, and spirit had filled the lower realm. As time passed, the heaven and earth had benefited. Under the calculations of the experts, the 3,000 divine children of the lower realm had appeared, and experts of the sects wanted to recruit them. It was just that simple. Lin Fei couldn't help but take a deep breath. The 3,000 divine princes were born after the experts died. They indeed had a great background and were far superior to ordinary geniuses. The 3,000 divine princes obtained benefits. Once they were born, they had unimaginable talent. Their cultivation speed would be very terrifying. Moreover, they were born with the will of the heaven and earth. They were called the children of the heavenly Tao. The 8 god emperors all wanted to recruit them. Heavenly God Lishan said. Lin Fei had a rough idea. The 3,000 divine princes had a great background and were the children of the heavenly Tao. They were indeed amazing. Who were the 8 god emperors? Right. What's the background of this Han Dun? And the 8 sects? Are they related to the 8 god emperors you mentioned? In the past, Lin Fei didn't bother to understand this. After finding out about the 3,000 divine children, Lin Fei really wanted to understand more about the upper realm, especially the identity of the yellow-robed man back then. At the very least, he had to get to the bottom of this so that he wouldn't be confused. Han Dun was one of the 9 god emperors. He was suppressed and sealed in the lower world. Because he was too powerful, he couldn't be killed. Later on, he was suppressed separately. The one on the divine mountain was formed by one of them. God Emperor Expert? This realm should be very high. What about the yellow-robed man? Lin Fei asked again. Heavenly God Li Shan was curious. The person who controlled time should know these secrets, right? Since he was now a follower, he didn't ask. He continued, he is the sect master and also one of the god emperors. His Taoist title is Heaven-Defying Sect Master. Such a heaven-defying name. Lin Fei dared to call him Di Tian. Now it seemed that there was someone even more awesome than him who dared to call himself the heaven-defying sect leader. Rumor has it that the heaven-defying sect leader was born immortal. He defied the heavens and ascended to his current position of God Emperor. In the upper worlds, there are only 9 God Emperors in total. When he said that, Heavenly God Lishan's face was filled with worship. This time, Lin Fei was really shocked. There were only 9 deity emperors, and one of them was a mortal who defied the heavens. Lin Fei had to admit that the other party was very powerful. It was extremely difficult for him to advance step by step. Out of 10 billion people, there might not even be one who could succeed. Those who could succeed were people with strong willpower. Above the God Emperors, could it be the God Emperors? The 9 God Emperors are the strongest? Lin Fei suddenly thought of what he said before. It seemed to be related to Han Dun. How could it be related to the throne? Heavenly God Lishan nodded. The strongest are the God Emperors. There is only one God Emperor. Back then, Han Dun was the one who inherited the throne. Unfortunately, the 8 God Emperors attacked and knocked Han Dun down to the mortal world. Then, they started a war that lasted for hundreds of years. Finally, Han Dun was suppressed. The 8 major sects in the territory were actually established by the people left behind by the 8 God Emperors. This time, Lin Fei really understood. The 8 major sects were supported by the 8 God Emperors. They were existences who could compete for the throne. Han Dun was one of the God Emperors who failed. However, he wasn't killed. Instead, he was sealed and suppressed. So, the last time you became heavenly gods, it was agreed upon by the God Emperors? Apart from ascending to heavenly God, what else have you done? Lin Fei asked. Back then, in order to prevent the remaining forces of Han Dun from entering the lower realm, the 8 major sects sealed the passageway. When the 3,000 god children were about to be born, they barely opened a part of it. The 8 major sects then communicated with the sects in the upper realm. The upper realm rewarded them with many low-grade divine weapons and promoted some half-step heavenly gods. On the other hand, we were used to attract people on the surface. We were also the spokespeople in the lower realm. Master, you killed 4 spokespeople of the sects in one go. Heavenly God Lishan smiled bitterly. Wrong. Not 4, but 5. The Bliss Palace's Empyrean Goddess of Beauty was also killed. Lin Fei knew that this involved a lot of things. One was Hun Dun, who had escaped, and the other was the 3,000 godchildren who were about to be born. It was inevitable that things would be chaotic. Heavenly God Lishan's eyes widened. He immediately understood. He could have killed all of the black sacred deities without a care in the world, let alone the Empyrean goddess of beauty. They were all unlucky people who deserved to die. Lin Fei knew what was going to happen next, after learning about these things from Heavenly God Lishan. Not only would he offend a few sects, but he would also unknowingly offend a deity emperor. Lin Fei found it funny just thinking about it. He was really full of lice, so he didn't care about those few anymore. Lin Fei didn't ask too many questions. They were basically all important things. Heavenly God Lishan knew everything. It turned out that these secrets were not secrets at all up there. According to Heavenly God Lishan, the 8 great deity emperors controlled the upper realms, and they restricted each other. No one sat on the throne, unless one of them broke through to the God Emperor realm. This situation would always be maintained. The fight for the 3,000 godchildren would be unusually intense. Not only would there be 8 great deity emperors, but there would also be a chaotic deity emperor. I have to find a godhead as soon as possible. It would be best if I could gather 100 divine king shards and summon a divine king expert. Above heavenly gods were divine kings, followed by godly venerables and then deity emperors. A divine king expert would be very powerful for the time being, and it would be very useful to Lin Fei. In the following days, you will stay outside and pretend that nothing has happened. If there are any disturbances, just send me a message. Lin Fei didn't plan to bring Heavenly God Lishan with him for the time being. In that case, he wouldn't be very useful, and this wasn't what Lin Fei wanted to see. Is the battlefield that year sealed, and only the people of the 8 great sects can enter now? Lin Fei asked. The important thing was that this was related to the divine king shards. Chapter 17:26. It was rare for great metropolis, heaven, to be calm. As the auction entered its countdown, experts from various dominions came to great metropolis heaven. News of the 8 great sects and great metropolis heaven's realm, Lord Tian's enmity had spread like wildfire. It was even rumored that the 8 great sects would send people to flatten great metropolis heaven. The rumors spread like wildfire. Everyone came to great metropolis heaven and didn't see anyone from the 8 great sections. In addition to what had happened before, everyone carefully kept their temper. Great metropolis heaven was here, and they couldn't do anything to it. The area outside Tianyin Tower was rented out one senfu after another. In a short time, it became a bustling place. Everyone was watching. On the 5th day from the start of the auction, the 3 great merchant guilds finally came to great metropolis heaven. Black warships were parked outside. To be able to rush to great metropolis heaven before the auction, one could see how important they were to this auction. The first to arrive was Fengyun Merchant Association. They had 5 top-grade warships, and their black auras put great pressure on the immortals entering great metropolis heaven. The war flags on the warships had 2 ancient characters on them, scaring everyone away from them and choosing to enter great metropolis heaven from elsewhere. Fengyun Merchant Association was one of the 3 top merchant guilds. Its power and influence were terrifying, and no one was willing to offend them. Didn't they say that the 8 great sects came? Why does it look like nothing happened in great metropolis heaven? On the deck of the middle warship, a middle-aged man in embroidered clothes from Fengyun Merchant Association said calmly. This was the previous vice-chairman, Tianyang. As the vice-chairman of Fengyun Merchant Association, Tianyang had control of many channels. It wasn't difficult for him to gather information. He also knew that several of the 10 great gods had come. Along the way, Tianyang had urged them to hurry, worried that they would be left behind. But now, it looked like nothing happened in great metropolis heaven. Tianyang couldn't understand. Did Tian have the ability to turn things around? Maybe they're still on the way, a subordinate said. Tianyang sneered. That was impossible. None of the 10 great gods were negotiable. They had a grudge with Ditian. If they came, there would definitely be a huge battle. There's no need to guess. We'll know once we go in. Tianyang was clear. Chairman, more people are coming. Another subordinate came to report. The world commerce is not slow. I wonder who led the team this time. Tianyang was not surprised at all. Let's wait for our old friend here. Not long after, 5 majestic warships soared through the sky. He stopped at a place not far from where he was. A young man in embroidered clothes walked onto the deck and shot a sharp gaze over. President Tian, long time no see. Tianyang also looked over and lightly said, So it's third young Master Feng. We haven't seen each other for over 100 years. Back then you were still a child, and now you've grown up. A trace of displeasure flashed across the young man's face. People will grow up, but President Tian doesn't look old at all. When I came out, my father told me to greet President Tian properly. Let's go in together. Tianyang had long heard of third young Master Feng's name. He was a very competitive person. At such a young age, with the resources of the Merchant Association, he had become a 1-star celestial god. As the vice guild leader, Tianyang was good at socializing. He would not reveal a disgusted expression. Instead, he kept a smile on his face. This old fox is indeed not simple. I have to be careful when dealing with him in the future. Third young Master Feng thought to himself. He was also afraid of President Tianyang. Let's go in. 10 warships rushed towards the great metropolis world. As for the warships stopping outside in the starry sky, they did not care about it at all. It was just a small world. Their warships were qualified to enter. Rumble, their warships went in. With a wave, a strange thing happened. The warships appeared outside the starry sky again, much farther than before. Outside the starry sky, there was suddenly an additional figure. This is the great metropolis world. To ensure that the world is not affected, everyone's warships can only stay outside temporarily. A light voice echoed in the starry sky. Tianyang stood on the deck and smiled. You must be Ditian. I am Ditian. Since you know me, all the more reason to leave your warships outside. Lin Fei said expressionlessly. Please abide by the rules. Tianyang had Ditian's information. Now that he saw him in person, he found something unexpected. It did not match the information. Ditian was already a heavenly god. As long as one was not an idiot, they would be able to sense the divine might that flowed from his body. Moreover, Tianyang was also a 1-star heavenly god. I have to congratulate Taoist Ditian. Another heavenly god has appeared in our territory. Tianyang said respectfully. Since Taoist Ditian has spoken, our Wind Cloud Trade Association will definitely abide by the rules. Tianyang was a flexible person. Ditian was a heavenly god the moment he appeared, so Tianyang took him seriously. As a businessman, profits were the most important. It was not worth offending him. The Wind Cloud Trade Association had always represented itself as a businessman. If Ditian had not revealed that he was a heavenly god, Tianyang would not have cared about his words. Rules had to be measured by strength. Tianyang was straightforward. He arranged for people to stay on the warships while he led his men off. He gave Ditian enough face. What about this Taoist? Lin Fei turned to third young Master Feng's warships. Third young Master Feng was young and arrogant. He had always looked down on country bumpkins. No matter what their realm was, they were just country bumpkins in his eyes. So what if they had advanced to the heavenly god realm? In the great metropolis world, Ditian was probably the only heavenly god. What was there to scare? You are just a country bumpkin. Don't you know who I am representing? I am representing the World Trade Association. Our warships can go anywhere we want. You are just a small realm lord. What right do you have to ask us to disembark? Third young Master Feng sneered. This young master wants to bring the warships in. That is already showing respect to your great metropolis world. Enter. Third young Master Feng ordered the warships to enter. Actually, third young Master Feng had his own thoughts. In his opinion, everything was done with force. How strong could a small heavenly god be? If he wanted to enter, who would dare to stop him? If Di Tian dared to attack, third young Master Feng did not mind attacking. He would have an excuse to attack and take down the great metropolis world in one fell swoop. The 5 warships, once again, charged towards the great metropolis world. Still too inexperienced, Tianyang laughed from afar. He was happy to watch the two fight. Our great metropolis world does not welcome those who do not follow the rules. Lin Fei was expressionless. He struck out a technique towards everyone. The outer space trembled. Space-time reversal. A formless energy enveloped the 5 warships. Crash! A huge black hole appeared out of nowhere. The 5 warships all fell into it. The black hole closed. Ditian, you dare! When the black hole was about to close, a figure tried to rush out. Scram! Chapter 17:27. Everything had happened so quickly. Tianyang hadn't paid much attention to Di Tian before. A heavenly god's power was astonishing. Unfortunately, Di Tian didn't have anyone backing him. He was already very lucky to be able to cultivate to the heavenly god realm. Tianyang chose to disembark because he knew third young Master Feng would attack. The young man was furious. Moreover, world commerce was one of the top 3 merchant guilds. No one dared to stop them from entering. This naturally fostered third young Master Feng's arrogance. Stopping third young Master Feng from entering a remote small world. Based on his youthful nature, he would definitely force his way in. A fight would be unavoidable. Tianyang was happy to see this scene. He could also gauge Di Tian's true strength. When the two fought fiercely, he would step out to be the peacemaker. Tianyang's plan was good. He had calculated everything, except for one thing. Di Tian's strength was more terrifying than he had imagined. What was that technique just now? How could it be so powerful? It sent third young Master Feng and his warship flying? That technique, it's simply unimaginable. Tianyang hadn't even been able to see the technique clearly. Is there a spatial formation under this starry sky? But what kind of formation could be so powerful? Tianyang fell into deep thought. He was glad that he didn't charge in blindly. Otherwise, he would have been banished and missed the auction opportunity. At this moment, Tianyang didn't dare to underestimate Di Tian. Boom, boom, boom. In a dark swamp, with rumbling sounds, a few black figures fell from the sky and smashed into the swamp, causing an earthquake. Third young master, it's bad. The warships are all damaged. Third young master, we've come to a dangerous place. Third young master, we've been surrounded by the savage beasts of the swamp. In the vast swamp, several priceless warships lay in disorder. More than half of their hulls were covered in mud. Nearby, pairs of eyes lit up. Bastard, Di Tian, I won't let you off. Third young Master Feng emerged from the mud, his entire body emitting a rancid smell. With a sweep of his ruthless divine power, many of the savage beasts around him were killed. The stench of blood filled the air. Roar! Then came the roars of many savage beasts. Tianyang brought his men into great metropolis world. As soon as he entered, he was shocked by the density of immortal energy in the air. Only the top-tier powers of a great weave would be able to set up such a setup. Dao, friend Di Tian, the formation outside your world is quite unique. I wonder which grandmaster did you find to set it up? Tianyang casually asked. Tianyang knew that third young Master Feng must have been teleported somewhere. If they were lucky, they would suffer less. If they were unlucky, it would be hard to tell when they would be able to return. My master helped me set this up. It's just a small formation. Sorry for making you laugh, Lin Fei said calmly. Tianyang did not continue asking. Di Tian had a master behind him? This news was very important. Lin Fei brought Tianyang to the vicinity of the Tianyin Tower and then arranged for a senfu to meet him. He gave him enough face and left an invitation to the auction before leaving the senfu. Not simple, Tianyang said softly after Di Tian left. Looks like we really have to put in a lot of money for this auction. In the Invincible Palace, Lin Fei ate an immortal fruit. The one who went out was one of his clones. He had refined a godhead to reach the heavenly god realm. Ignorant fellas need to suffer. Lin Fei did not intend to hide his strength. He arranged for a clone to go out. A heavenly god was enough to make many people restrain their thoughts and not dare to act recklessly. World commerce. Lin Fei really did not care. Those who did not abide by the rules were all banished. Wind Cloud Commerce's president Tianyang is an old fox. Third young Master Feng is an idiot. They deserve to be banished. Lin Fei ate another immortal fruit. On the second day after third young Master Feng was banished, Hell Heaven Commerce came. Perhaps they had received the news. Hell Heaven decisively left their battleship outside the galaxy. The leader brought his men into the great metropolis world and settled down in a senfu. Third young Master Feng of world commerce is really an idiot. That's good. With one less world commerce to compete with, we might really be able to buy a low-grade god artifact. In the senfu, the leader tapped the table with his fingers. This time, Hell Heaven Commerce sent a heavyweight vice president, Huang Chuan, who was also a heavenly god expert. It could be seen how important this auction was to Tianyin Tower. Continue to arrange for people to gather information. Also, restrain our people. Don't mess around in the great metropolis world. Huang Chuan felt that he could not see through Di Tian. Since he was here, Huang Chuan was not in a hurry. After all, without world commerce, there would be more opportunities to bid for things. It's time to meet that old fox Tianyang. Huang Chuan's expression flickered as if he had made a decision. As the countdown began, a few first-rate powers arrived. Some of the first-rate forces arrived one after another. With the Wind and Cloud Chamber of Commerce and the Hell Heaven Chamber of Commerce in the lead, everyone entered obediently. The scene of great metropolis world being besieged did not appear. Those who wanted to take advantage of the situation were helpless. Moreover, the daily expenses were not small. It could be considered a huge loss. There were only 2 days left until the auction. Primal Chaos Ancient Country's chief commander, who had not come yet, came. The current Primal Chaos Ancient Country's influence was not small, especially when it came to one person. When the chief commander arrived and saw the warships outside, he smiled. Di Tian is really capable. Wind Cloud Commerce and Hell Heaven are not easy to negotiate with. I didn't expect them to really leave behind the warships. The chief commander thought to himself. After obtaining the benefits last time, the chief commander was shocked. No matter what, he had to come to this auction and bring enough good things. He had to win a low-grade god artifact. Those people might be here to watch the show. It seems that I can get a few more low-grade god artifacts this time. The chief commander was happy just thinking about it. As long as they did not care, his chances were higher. The chief commander came personally. Lin Fei also came out to welcome him. This was a business partner. Great commander, you've come personally. Your presence really brings light to my small place. The grand commander laughed. You don't need me here. You're making me feel embarrassed. Oh, right, the people from the 8 great sects didn't cause trouble for you, right? If you need anything, you can just ask. They'll give me some face. Who didn't know that behind your Primal Chaos Ancient Country stood a Primal Chaos, one of the 9 god emperors back then, who would dare not give him face? Thank you for your kindness. I appreciate it. Lin Fei politely refused. They would not care about a small character like me and would not come all the way here to cause trouble. Tian, come out and die for this old man. Tian, you killed my beloved disciple. I will destroy your world. Chapter 1728. An enraged voice reverberated across the starry sky. Anyone who was not an idiot would be able to sense the terror in the voice. The commander laughed. Looks like you're in trouble. They came to you with a murderous intent. I really don't know what you did, but it looks like they're all old monsters. There was a hint of mockery in the commander's words. In truth, the commander was very surprised as well. Lin Fei was too good at stirring up trouble. How long had it been? He killed the Bliss Palace's Empyrean beauty goddess last time. Could he have killed another Empyrean god this time? This was a naked slaying of a god. The Bliss Palace was also investigating the death of the Empyrean beauty goddess. It would not take long for them to follow the clues and find Lin Fei. The commander knew this better than anyone else. That was why the commander said what he did before. If he could leave a good impression, the chaotic ancient nation would really need to cooperate with Lin Fei. That was why he came personally this time to show respect to Lin Fei. After trying out the low-grade divine artifact he bought from Lin Fei, the commander realized the difference between the quality of low-grade divine artifacts. They were all low-grade divine artifacts, but the difference in quality could completely crush each other. The commander was currently using the low-grade divine artifact he bought from Lin Fei, and he loved it so much that he could not bear to part with it. The rest of the divine artifacts were also given to the core members of the city lord's office, which improved their strength. Lin Fei laughed and shrugged. I can't help it. I'm already so low-key, but they still come looking for trouble. They're just not going to let me live a peaceful life. Loki? Slaying gods? Using the Tianyun Tower to auction low-grade divine artifacts? How is that low-key? The commander really wanted to say that, but he did not say it. Lin Fei contacted the little devil. Scan for me and see how many people came. Once we get rid of them, no one will come looking for trouble. Okay, the little devil answered. A few seconds later, the little devil reported the situation. Master, there are 5 Empyrean gods, all at the pinnacle of 1-star Empyrean gods from 5 forces. They also brought tens of thousands of subordinates, all of whom are rulers. Lin Fei didn't even need to think to know who had come to deal with him. Wasn't it just the backing of a few heavenly gods that he had destroyed? 5 heavenly gods. Hee, another 5 divine sparks. Lin Fei narrowed his eyes as well. Not far away, the commander was confused. Why was he so happy when the enemy was here? What kind of logic was this? Could it be that this guy wanted to kill a god? The sound was getting closer and closer. 5 heavenly deities appeared under the starry sky. Following them were tens of thousands of sect disciples. It was a dark mass, and their auras were connected as one. Great metropolis worlds, heavenly god powerhouses, also sensed the changes outside. Hua. Several figures appeared outside the starry sky. Why are they here? They're still so aggressive. 10,000 elite subordinates. Are they going to bathe the great metropolis world in blood? Empyrean god Devil Cloud of the mystic demon sect, Empyrean god Crimson Fire of the Bliss Palace, Empyrean god Xiongbao of the myriad demon sect, Empyrean god Colds Now of the godly heaven palace, and Empyrean god Illusory of the holy demon Hegemon sect. All of these people are heavenly gods who have been famous for a long time. They rarely go out to deal with the same person. I didn't expect them to appear together this time. This Tian is amazing. The heavenly gods who appeared in the starry sky communicated with their divine senses. In reality, they were all quite shocked. Even though they knew Tian was strong, it was no small matter that he had suddenly attracted the attack of 5 great forces. If things went wrong, he might be removed from the territory today. Tianyang of wind and cloud commerce is here. Huang Chuan of hell and heaven is here too. A moment later, 2 more people appeared. standing quietly under the starry sky. These heavenly gods didn't dare to approach them. The difference in status was too great. How do you think Di Tian will solve this? Huang Chuan asked Tianyang with a smile, as if he had given him a difficult answer. Tianyang looked into the distance. Young people have a bad temper. In the end, it's all about fighting. Didn't we go through the same thing back then? Don't you think the difference in power is too great? The spies that Arakawa had arranged came back with news one after another, gaining a new understanding of Di Tian. 5 major forces, heavenly gods dispatched, and tens of thousands of elites under their command. Such a force can wipe out any force, much less a mid-sized small world. Tianyang's expression was the same as before. Third young master Feng of world commerce was chased away. The 5 great forces have joined forces. They are indeed strong, but it depends on who they are dealing with. As for who wins or loses, does it matter to us? We are merchants. Ha 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 ha, that's right. Huang Chuan and Tianyang laughed together. Only they understood what they meant. Boom, boom, boom. 5 tyrannical auras crushed toward Lin Fei. Bang, 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 the void under the starry sky exploded, especially where Lin Fei was. Lin Fei snorted coldly. The void around him shattered and was replaced by a huge black hole. Strong winds blew continuously, but Lin Fei was not affected at all. This ability was already enough to make people look at him in a new light. Those were 5 heavenly god powerhouses. Di Tian, were you the one who killed my disciple? An elder with a dancing fire mark between his brows shot out raging flames, not giving anyone a chance to resist. Lin Fei was in the black hole. The burning flames disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. Senior, who are you? What does the death of your disciple have to do with me? I've killed many people, so many that I can't even remember their names. How would I know what you're talking about? Lin Fei smiled mischievously. The one who shouted was heavenly god Scarlet Flame from Bliss Palace. He came here as soon as he came to a conclusion. He happened to run into a few other heavenly gods along the way. He was sure that Di Tian was the murderer after learning their purpose. Heavenly god Scarlet Flame had always been high and mighty. He had never met anyone who dared to talk to him like that. He was so angry that he glared at Di Tian. Di Tian, you killed my beloved disciple, Hongyan. How dare you deny it? Lin Fei dug his ear and said nonchalantly, Oh, so Hongyan was your disciple. Why did you come out after killing the little one? Is this the trend nowadays? Heavenly God Scarlet Flame was stunned. He thought that Di Tian would not dare to admit to killing Hongyan. Why would he admit it so easily? Was he not afraid of Bliss Palace's revenge? Heavenly God Black Saint, did you kill him? Another black-cloaked heavenly god shouted angrily. Lin Fei flicked his fingers. You mean that arrogant guy? If so, I should be the one who killed him. Did you kill the 10th young master? Did you kill heavenly god Kongshen? Where's heavenly god Gold Feather? Chapter 1729. How dare he be so arrogant after killing someone? They hadn't thought of that. The heavenly gods of the 5 forces almost wondered if there was something wrong with Di Tian's head. Was he going to fight 5 pinnacle, 1-star heavenly gods alone? The thought flashed through their minds and was tossed to the back of their minds. Di Tian didn't have the ability to fight them at all. The only thing they were unhappy about was that Di Tian admitted it too quickly. Before they came, they were still thinking about how to force Di Tian to admit it. After a while, they decided to use force to force him to admit it. Who wouldn't say anything if they had a reason? In the end, Di Tian admitted it on the spot. His tone and expression were hard to accept. It was as if he had just killed a passerby. That was a heavenly god, not a chicken, duck, cat, or dog. The heavenly gods in the distance were stunned as well. Is Di Tian crazy? How dare he admit it? They're obviously looking for trouble. If it were me, I wouldn't admit it even if I was beaten to death. Hee hee, I like Tion's personality. Why do you have to hide when you kill someone? If you kill someone, you kill someone. That's how we should be. The 8 major sects and 7 overlords have been expanding their forces recently. Tion killed a few of their heavenly gods, so the pressure on us will be much less. These heavenly gods were either from powerful families or sections. In terms of power and influence, they were far from the 8 major sects and 7 overlords. Recently, there had been undercurrents everywhere in the territory. They were all under a lot of pressure. Now that someone had fought against the 8 major sects and 7 overlords, they were very happy to see it. Their impression of Tion skyrocketed. They hoped that Tion would make these people come in full force and return in disappointment, dealing a heavy blow to their pride. Some heavenly gods even planned to maintain a good relationship with Tion as long as he didn't die today. This kind of person was just too much to their liking. Tion, you killed Hongyan. It's good that you dare to admit it. Heavenly God Crimson Flame was furious. Now, you better come back to Bliss Palace with us and tell us who ordered you to kill our heavenly god. Crimson Flame, what do you mean by this? Tion killed our sacred black god. We have to bring him back. The dark demon Sex Empyrean god Demonic Cloud was displeased. You're bringing this person back? Is our dark demon sect going to waste this trip? Apart from bringing Tion back, they also had to interrogate the mastermind behind this. A few heavenly deities were killed. They didn't believe that Tion had the ability to do so. There must be someone directing this from the shadows. As long as they brought Tion back, they would have plenty of methods to interrogate him. Tion killed an Empyrean god of our godly heaven palace as well. What right do you have to take him back? Empyrean god Colds now of godly heaven palace disagreed. His goal was the same as theirs. No, absolutely not. We, the 1,000 Goblins sect, must bring Tion back. The 5 heavenly deities began to quarrel. Tion was very important. No one could give in. Should we fire a few shots? Lin Fei wasn't a good person. In a place like the Weave, good people basically didn't survive. They would either die at the hands of immortal beasts or immortals. There was no third outcome. He took out the battle fortress. A black giant appeared in front of everyone, emitting a terrifying aura. Battle number 1, fire the cannons. Don't stop. Since they dare to be arrogant in the great metropolis heavens, they should know how powerful I am. Give you face? Lin Fei was not a fool. He would not do such a thing. Understood. Battle number 1 was born to control the battle. As soon as the battle fortress appeared, its terrifying aura caused everyone's hearts to palpitate. It was as though they were being stared at by a terrifying demon king. They felt very uncomfortable. Before they could react, one destructive aura after another shot out. Swish, swish, swish. Black beams of light swept through the air, piercing through the army of rulers. Hundreds of them died on the spot. They didn't even make a sound. Ruler battle armor? It broke through. Shield? It broke through. Over 100 beams of light shot out, creating a huge hole in the previously orderly army of rulers. The rulers clearly began to panic. The beams of light were simply too fast. They were rulers, and although they weren't slow, they couldn't block the terrifying power of the beams of light. This was the first wave. Not even a second later, the second wave of attacks was launched. This time, there were over 1,000 beams of light. Multiple cannons appeared in front of the battle fortress, and they shot out in rapid succession. Not good, that's a battle fortress. Why did this thing appear? It's coming again. It's my battle armor. The second wave of attacks came, and the rulers collapsed. The beams of light became terrifying existences that reaped their lives. In front of this, they became extremely weak, because they saw with their own eyes that no matter what they were wearing, it would be pierced through. This was because there was more than one beam of light that landed on them. In addition, they were almost all gathered together. The concentrated attacks of the beams were simply a one-sided massacre. After the second wave of attacks, less than 20,000 of the 50,000 elite rulers were left. All of them were scared out of their wits, and they all ran away, crying for their parents. They wished they had more legs. Against the infamous battle fortress, 2 legs were really not enough. The rulers who were lucky enough to survive were all left with inner demons. They didn't dare to think back to that terrifying scene. According to what they said, even if they were wearing battle armor, the beams were densely packed. No matter how good the defense of the battle armor was, they wouldn't be able to dissipate the power in time. It would be strange if they didn't die one after another. This was a scene that they would never forget for the rest of their lives. Tian, you bastard! Too shameless. I'm going to kill you. The 5 heavenly gods didn't even have time to react before the battle fortress's attacks came. After 2 waves of attacks, the elite rulers they brought were basically left with around 4,000 to 5,000. In the blink of an eye, they lost 5,000 subordinates. Most importantly, facing the dense and terrifying attacks, their subordinates were scared out of their wits. They lost the ability to fight and were left with inner demons. They were completely crippled. How could they accept this? It was fine if 1 ruler died, but now 4,000 to 5,000 were dead and they were elite rulers. Their equipment was also destroyed, turning into scrap metal. This was a huge loss. The 5 heavenly gods went crazy and cursed each other. If they didn't quarrel, they wouldn't have fallen for this. The battle fortress came out too quickly. When the surrounding heavenly gods reacted, they all jumped in fright. As expected of a lethal weapon, it lives up to its reputation. If I had such a lethal weapon, any faction would have to be polite to me, killing to my heart's content. If it were me, it wouldn't be easy to block it. While the heavenly gods were shocked, they inwardly rejoiced that they didn't do anything to Tian. Everyone knew about the battle fortress, but those who had actually seen it were few and far between. Moreover, there weren't many who had attacked it face to face. This also became the capital for them to brag about later on. Lin Fei sat on top of the battle fortress. Shameless? Who's shameless? Your people weren't as skilled as me and were killed by me. Who's to blame? And you still want me to go with you? Do you really think I'm afraid of you? Lin Fei took out an immortal fruit and ate it. The juice flowed and it tasted pretty good. Xiao, 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 the light beam attacks continued. The 5 heavenly gods were furious. They wanted to immediately kill Tian and skin him alive. However, the concentrated attacks forced them to take out low-grade god artifacts to block. If they didn't block, the people behind them would all die. Run. The battle fortress's attacks were known as long-range attacks. No matter how fast the rulers were, they couldn't compare to the battle fortress's attacks. Chapter 1730. The battleships continued to unleash their might. Black energy cannons swept up a boundlessly terrifying aura. Regardless of whether they were in the great metropolis celestial realm or the celestial gods in the outside world, any immortal who had reached a higher level of cultivation would feel a sudden sense of trepidation. Not even supreme quality ruler battle robes could withstand such a ferocious attack. The elite rulers brought by the 5 heavenly gods were almost instantly killed. They could block 1 energy cannon, but they couldn't block the 2nd or 3rd. The battleships are indeed top-grade war weapons of the battle race. Even heavenly gods can't block such concentrated attacks. This Tian is even more vicious than I imagined. Tian Yang's expression turned serious. I thought he would endure for a while. Young people are indeed full of youthful vigor. What an eye-opener. Tian's attacks cost nothing. The price of a single cannon can bankrupt many people. It seems that this Tian of ours is truly rich. Huang Chuan had a look of envy on his face. They couldn't wait for the 2 sides to fight. If Lin Fei had been defeated, they wouldn't have minded helping out as a favor. In the end, however, Lin Fei was even more vicious than they had imagined. He had taken advantage of their discord to attack them. They liked his swift and decisive methods. "They've lost face," Huang Chuan said. "News of today's events will definitely spread." Tianyang nodded. "If Di Tian can suppress the 5 heavenly gods, no one will dare to do anything to the great metropolis heaven for a short period of time. Unfortunately, even with the influence of our merchant association, we don't have a single battleship." The two of them sighed. They had no choice but to accept Di Tian's luck. The 5 heavenly gods had ugly expressions on their faces. They took out low-quality divine artifacts to block the incoming energy cannons. Their eyes were terrifyingly sharp, and they radiated a cold, killing intent. No one had ever dared to call them cowards. Di Tian was the first. "Di Tian, you've got guts. In a bit, this old man will make you regret saying those words." Scarlet Flame activated his defensive divine artifact. "All of you, come to this old man's senfu." Scarlet Flame was about to retract his subordinates. If they all died, it would be hard to explain, even if he was a heavenly god. Lin Fei crossed his legs. "You're right. I'm a man. How can I not have guts? Are you not a man? Have you been castrated? Fire dragon dance." Heavenly God Scarlet Flame's eyes were bloodshot. He withdrew his subordinates into his senfu and soared into the sky. He unleashed a ferocious fire dragon that went straight for Lin Fei in the black hole. Bang, bang, bang! The battle fortress in front of the black hole was destroyed. The energy cannons continued to fire. Shadow, Heavenly God Chi Ho was stunned, and then he shook his head. "It's not a phantom. It's a spatial technique. Do you think I can't deal with you just because you have a spatial technique?" World ablaze! Empyrean God Scarlet Flame unleashed a wave of divine fire. The divine flame spread out continuously, illuminating most of the starry sky. Then they turned into fire dragons that charged into the black hole one after another, smashing through layer after layer of space. "Old thing, is that all you've got?" On the battle fort, Lin Fei was full of smiles. "But your fire is pretty good. I can use it to barbecue." With that, a huge piece of barbecued meat appeared outside of the battle fort. The fire was getting weaker and weaker, and the golden oil was dripping off the meat. Barbecue? How could this kid do something like that? Tianyang and Huang Chuan couldn't help but laugh. This was infuriating. Di Tian easily dodged Empyrean God Scarlet Flame's attack. Just this skill alone was enough to make him invincible. Don't forget, there was still the battle fortress to attack. Even Empyrean gods would have a headache over this. "Scarlet Flame, your fire is no good. Watch my ice." Empyrean goddess, Colds now of the divine heavenly palace, charged forward. A wave of ice and snow shot into the black hole, shattering space as well. However, this attack was also shattered by the energy cannons when it reached the black hole. "I don't believe this." Empyrean God Scarlet Flame was furious. Dressed in low-grade god armor, he charged forward, wanting to kill Di Tian on the spot to vent his anger. He had forgotten about bringing Di Tian back. Di Tian was too infuriating. "I'll go with you." Empyrean Goddess, Snow, charged in as well. Both of them activated their defensive treasures to block the energy cannons, but even so, they could still sense the attacks coming from all directions. Every time they blocked, they would have to expend a lot of divine power. However, Di Tian was still unable to find his way out. "Didn't you want to kill me? I'm right in front of you. Hurry up and come. Don't disappoint me." The dense energy cannons in the distance caused their scalps to go numb. Swish, swish, swish. 3 more figures charged in. They had brought their subordinates with them into the senfu. They didn't want to be killed by the energy cannons here. That would be a huge loss. This guy used a spatial treasure to hide in countless layers of space. How shameless. Empyrean god, bear storm of the myriad goblins, sect, spat out a stream of demonic aura, showing his fury. The most shameless thing is that energy cannons. Every single one of them is extremely terrifying. They are constantly consuming our divine power. This is the most troublesome part. This guy's energy cannons seem to have no limits. Empyrean god Devil Cloud felt a headache coming on. There were countless layers of space. Empyrean god Devil Cloud had destroyed countless layers of space, but he still couldn't catch up to Tion's shadow. His divine power was constantly being consumed. Everyone, let's break through space together. That way we'll be faster. The battle fort is a top-tier weapon of war. No matter how rich Tion is, his energy cannons aren't limitless. Maybe if we just hold on for a bit longer, we'll win. Empyrean god Voidzai, who hadn't spoken much, said, "Fellow Taoist Voidzai is right. The battle fort is known as a bottomless pit. Tion won't need too much time. Everyone, let's break through space together." Everyone believed Empyrean god Voidzai's words. His backer, the Saint Devil Overlord, had a battle fort. Things like energy were extremely precious. Tion was just lucky. As long as they continued, they would definitely win. "Master, why don't you summon your clones and kill them all?" Little Fiend really liked this kind of slow and unhurried way of doing things. Lin Fei sat on the battle fort. He didn't seem to care about the energy consumption at all. What's the rush? Once they come in, they won't be able to leave. Don't you think it's very interesting for thieves to do this? Lin Fei grinned. You don't care about the energy consumption? Of course I do. But someone's going to give it back to me sooner or later. Lin Fei stood up and picked up the roast meat. It's not bad. I can eat it while I watch. Little Fiend glanced at the 5 heavenly gods who were still breaking through space. Poor baby. Boom, boom, boom. The 5 heavenly gods attacked at the same time, and it was almost like a one-sided massacre. At the same time, their divine power was also being consumed very quickly. They pulled out pills and swallowed them several times to recover their divine power, but they still couldn't keep up. Tion looked like he was only one step away, but he was always just ahead of them. Keep it up! Keep it up! Lin Fei moved another reclining chair over and sat there leisurely. Chapter 1731. What did it mean to have a bad start? The current situation was unfavorable for them. The 5 heavenly god powerhouses joined forces to attack Tion, but they were ultimately unable to block the layers of space in front of them. The space became their only barrier. It was the saddest thing in the world to be unable to take someone down right in front of you. More importantly, he was being watched by a few Empyrean gods. None of the 5 heavenly deities who acted felt comfortable. They regretted what they said to Tion earlier. Wouldn't it be fine if they directly went up to capture Qin Wentian? Now, look at what happened. They were being mocked by this brat. Taoist Voidzai, didn't you say that the battle fort would run out of energy soon? Empyrean god Demon Cloud consumed yet another pill. So much time has passed. Why haven't the attacks of the battleships weakened in the slightest? Empyrean god Voidzai was at a loss. He had never encountered a situation like this before. Who would be willing to expend energy like this? He mumbled. Well, it's not that I don't know. What now? Empyrean god Cold Snow's face was expressionless, but in truth, she was having a headache as well. This kid wasn't easy to deal with. Just a single dimension was enough to make them feel like dying. With 5 heavenly deities joining forces to attack, logically speaking, no matter what kind of spatial treasure it was, there was no way it could block their attacks. Sooner or later, the spatial treasure would be destroyed and they would capture Tion. But the current situation was beyond their expectations. The divine power had been used up, but the person had not been taken down. This was not a solution. Why aren't you continuing? On top of the battle fort, Lin Fei was leisurely watching the show. Didn't you want to take me back? I'm right in front of you. The expressions of the 5 heavenly gods became even worse. Empyrean god, demonic cloud waved his sleeves. Dtion, you really do have some skill. No wonder you dare to be so arrogant. You can hide in space. But I wonder if your family will be as lucky. For the sake of capturing Dtion, Empyrean god Devil Cloud was willing to do anything. Empyrean god Demon Cloud turned to leave. He refused to believe that Dtion wouldn't be nervous or worried. Once he left this dimension, even someone with 3 heads and 6 arms would have to bow their heads obediently. Contemptible? This wasn't despicable at all. As long as he won, he didn't need to care about anything else. The other 4 Empyrean deities hesitated for a moment. They really couldn't bring themselves to use their family to threaten the other party. This was because they were Empyrean deities and had their own bottom line. They weren't like Empyrean deity Devil Cloud, who had no qualms about anything. Also, the reputation of the mystic demon sect was indeed not very good. Many Empyrean deities were willing to do vicious and merciless things. It wasn't the first time he had seen people use their family to threaten others. Lin Fei stood up and laughed out loud. A cold light flashed across his eyes. What a great demon, profound sect! What a great 8 sects! What a great God of heaven! Since you dare to use this to threaten Laozi, then Laozi will not be polite to you. Empyrean god Demon Cloud was inwardly quite pleased with himself. Youngsters were youngsters, after all. They couldn't take the provocation of others at all. Even the slightest provocation from him would cause their minds to be thrown into chaos. This sort of person was the easiest to deal with. Dtion, it's good that you know. Come out right now, or I'll destroy your great metropolis heaven. You don't want your family to die in front of you, do you? Empyrean god Devil Cloud threatened. Empyrean god Devil Cloud didn't care about killing a few ants. You're dead for threatening my family. I guarantee that no one will be able to save you today. Lin Fei had seen shameless people, but he had never seen such a shameless deity. There was no point in keeping this kind of person around. Shio! A figure rushed out from the 10,000 layers of space. Eat my blade! A saber light slashed toward Empyrean god Devil Cloud. Empyrean god Devil Cloud wasn't afraid of Dtion coming out. As long as Dtion came out, everything would be under his control. He didn't care about this saber attack. He raised his hand, and a giant hand formed from divine power grabbed the saber light. Crack, 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 the saber light fell into the giant hand. Empyrean god Devil Cloud grabbed it hard, trying to crush the saber light. Many of the saber lights were crushed. Suddenly, the saber light in the palm exploded with the power of a heavenly god. The long and narrow saber light tore through the giant hand made of divine power and went straight for Empyrean god Devil Cloud's face. A pure heavenly god attack. The explosive power of this saber slashed on Empyrean god Devil Cloud's face. You've become a heavenly god. Empyrean god Devil Cloud was shocked. According to the information, Dtion's strength was at most a half-step heavenly god. He was far from the heavenly god realm. Congratulations, you've guessed correctly. Whoosh! Another heavenly god appeared and slashed at Empyrean god Devil Cloud, causing his body to tremble. Then Dtion also slashed at him. Empyrean god Devil Cloud was attacked from the front and the back. When he saw Dtion charging at him from behind and the aura of a heavenly god, his expression became extremely ugly. Damn it, 2 heavenly gods. How did his clone become an heavenly god as well? The 4 nearby heavenly gods were also stunned. A clone had become an heavenly god? What kind of joke was this? Even the clones they had cultivated couldn't reach the heavenly god realm in terms of combat prowess. At most, they were half-step heavenly gods. But this was a bona fide heavenly god. The aura of an heavenly god could not be replicated. 2 heavenly gods. It wasn't over yet. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 more heavenly gods appeared in the air, all of them emanating the same aura. The original 2 heavenly gods became 5 heavenly gods, and they joined forces to attack Empyrean god Devil Cloud. This wasn't a simple matter of 1 + 1. Empyrean god Devil Cloud was instantly surrounded by the 5 heavenly god clones. "I told you you're dead for sure today." Clone Lin Fei laughed. Empyrean god Devil Cloud's face was filled with terror. "Impossible. How could you have 5 heavenly god clones?" What awaited him was the attacks of the 5 clones Lin Fei. All of them were inferior grade divine weapons. Each and every one of them was perfect, especially in close quarters combat. In the blink of an eye, heavenly god demonic clouds, inferior grade divine armor, and inferior grade divine tool were riddled with holes and could be scrapped. "Cold blood void, come and help me." Empyrean god Devil Cloud's body was riddled with wounds, and his face was pale. He had no choice but to ask for help. Otherwise, he would really die today. Not good. This is dizziness. This is freezing. Gravity enhancement. After being surrounded by the 5 Dtion clones, Empyrean god Devil Cloud was crushed in the blink of an eye. All sorts of additional attributes rained down on his body. After all, Lin Fei had armed his 18 clones to the teeth. Apart from the important items, they also had all sorts of divine weapons and treasures on them that could unleash all sorts of attributes. Too many attributes could kill a person. Empyrean god Devil Cloud cried for help, then let out a blood-curdling scream. "We can't let Dtion kill fellow Taoist Devil Cloud." Empyrean god Scarlet Flame had a bad feeling about this. If Empyrean god Devil Cloud died here, they would definitely be finished as well. They would have to pay a heavy price to leave. The 4 Empyrean gods came to their senses. Time cage! Before they could help, they were trapped in the cage, and their movements slowed down. Lin Fei also descended from the battle fortress and appeared not far away from them. "No one can save the person I want to kill." Their hearts sank. Empyrean god Devil Cloud was dead for sure. Sure enough, within a few breaths, Empyrean god Devil Cloud let out an enraged roar. "Dtion, you want to kill me? I won't let you have your way." An aura of destruction gathered. Empyrean god Devil Cloud was about to self-detonate. "You must die." Lin Fei shook his head and pointed a finger at Empyrean god Devil Cloud. Empyrean god Devil Cloud's self-detonation was stopped, and the 5 clones swarmed forward, shattering Empyrean god Devil Cloud. Chapter 1732. Just like that, Empyrean god Demonic Cloud's godhead landed in Lin Fei's hands. "Dtion, I've lost. Please don't kill me. Just let me go, and I'll pretend nothing happened today." Empyrean god Demonic Cloud began to beg for mercy. However, the killing intent in his eyes didn't seem sincere at all. All he had to do was go back and summon the other Empyrean gods of his sect for revenge. Even though Empyrean god Demonic Cloud had been very secretive, there was no way he could hide it from Lin Fei. In the end, his true colors were exposed. It was laughable. "You make it sound so easy, you old thing. I have a habit of killing those who threaten me. If there's 1, I'll kill 1. If there's 2, I'll kill 2 to avoid future troubles." Lin Fei used the 10,000-year gaze and killed Empyrean god Demonic Cloud in the blink of an eye. Another Empyrean god had died. All the Empyrean gods were restless. No one had ever thought that a single person could be this powerful. Their horizons had been broadened. In front of them was a terrifying battle fortress. Behind them were clones of Empyrean gods. Every single one of them gave them immense pressure. Most importantly, they were armed to the teeth with divine weapons. Slay a god! Luckily, I didn't plan on attacking the major world. Even 100 lives wouldn't be enough to kill 5 clones. A peak 1-star Empyrean god died just like that. How terrifying! They were very wary of Dtion. They couldn't afford to offend someone like this. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed that clones could reach the Empyrean god level. This defied their common sense. What a high-grade, God-tier technique. Rumor has it that he cultivates a technique from the primal chaos heavens. But that technique doesn't seem to be this powerful. Tianyang and Huang Chuan's hearts shook. Di Tian was far more powerful than they had imagined. A single battle fortress was terrifying enough. Now he had 5 Empyrean gods and a mysterious spatial treasure. It would take at least 10 Empyrean gods to surround and kill him. From now on, no one will dare to look down on Di Tian. If you want to fight him, you have to weigh your strength first. Tianyang said again. Looking at Di Tian in the distance, no one knew what he was thinking. This trip was really worth it. The Tianyan Tower is really lucky to have such a great backer like Di Tian. Huang Chuan's mind spun rapidly as he thought about what he should do next. You see, I've never been wrong. Lin Fei played with the divinity in his hand. To be honest, the divinity was very beautiful. It was sparkling and resplendent. If it was on Earth back then, it would definitely be a great work of art. I wonder if I can find Earth in the future? Inexplicably, this thought popped up in Lin Fei's mind, but he quickly retracted it. With the death of Empyrean god Demonic Cloud, the 5 doppelgangers Lin Fei stood behind Lin Fei like bodyguards. The 4 Empyrean gods who were trapped in the time cage felt a chill run down their spines. Empyrean god Demonic Cloud, who was at the same level as them, had been killed just like that. It was as if all their cultivation had gone to waste. Di Tian had killed them too easily. When they saw the divinity in Di Tian's hand, they felt as if they could see their divinity appearing in his hand soon. Di Tian, the one who threatened your family, was Empyrean god Demonic Cloud. It has nothing to do with us. Empyrean god Su Zai hurriedly explained. He didn't want to be misunderstood as a threat. He was truly frightened by the scene just now. Empyrean god Su Zai still had the confidence to fight 1 against 2. However, facing 5 Empyrean gods and Di Tian, whose strength couldn't be seen, Empyrean god Su Zai didn't have the confidence to fight them. Moreover, the attributes of the inferior grade divine artifacts on the 5 doppelgangers had also frightened them. This kind of fighting method was pure bullying. Not only did he have to face 5 Empyrean gods, but he also had to resist the attribute attacks of the inferior grade divine artifacts. Even if he had 3 heads and 6 arms, he wouldn't be able to withstand it. Yes, we really didn't have such thoughts. It was all Empyrean god Demonic Cloud's actions. We are Empyrean gods, after all. We definitely wouldn't have such thoughts. None of the Empyrean gods of the demon mystic sect are good people to begin with. They all explained. Fight? They didn't have such thoughts. They were extremely fearful of Di Tian. Oh, so the one just now is called Empyrean god Demonic Cloud. Lin Fei said, if you say it has nothing to do with me, then it has nothing to do with me. How do I know if what you said is true? Didn't you say you wanted to bring me back to your sect? Did I hear wrongly? That doesn't seem possible. The 4 Empyrean gods had long faces and shook their heads to express that they didn't. They definitely couldn't admit to such things. As for their previous arrogance and disdain, they should just forget about it. Di Tian could easily kill them now. If they had known that you were so powerful, they wouldn't have come even if they were beaten to death. Is it easy to cultivate to our level? But you killed an Empyrean god as easily as killing a chicken or duck. They still wanted to live a little longer. Looking at you guys, you don't have the guts. But you wanted to take me back. Everyone heard it. I was scared out of my wits. What do you think I should do? Lin Fei said unhurriedly. You were scared out of your wits? CKU. We were the ones who were scared. You can even kill gods. Do you have to be so shameless? They almost cursed. There was someone who was so shameless. We are willing to compensate you. We are willing to compensate you for your loss. As long as you let us go, the things we brought will be part of the compensation. They only wanted to go back alive and tell the sect that this Di Tian wasn't easy to deal with. They couldn't afford to offend him. Revenge? They should study it slowly. Compensation? That's fine. But Lin Fei changed the topic. Forget about your things. I really don't care about them. In my eyes, they are all useless trash. If it was someone else who said this, the four of them would definitely spit at that person. But in front of Di Tian, they really had nothing to say. The 5 Empyrean God clones were all low-grade divine tools. They really couldn't compare to him. The 4 Empyrean gods were very bitter and helpless. Even Empyrean gods had times when they couldn't speak. If they really wanted to fight, they would lose at least 2 of them. None of them could defend against the combined attacks of 5 Empyrean god avatars. The endless elemental attacks could easily take their lives, and with the threat of the battle fortress, they had no chance of winning. What do we have to do for you to let us go? Empyrean god Scarlet Flame's face darkened. He finally spoke with great difficulty. These words also became the meaning of the other 3. It's not easy for you to come to great metropolis heaven. As your host, it would be a pity if I don't invite you to have a seat. Lin Fei said with a smile. As for the compensation, it's simple. As long as you send word back, and each of you send 3 godhoods, it'll be done. That's impossible. Empyrean god Scarlet Flame shouted. Who didn't know the importance of godhoods? Lin Fei put away the godhoods in his hand. Oh, since you're not willing, I'll just kill you. Anyway, you have godhoods. I don't care about other things, but I like godhoods. Chapter 1733. In everyone's eyes, the battle of life and death ended just like that. Great metropolis worlds, Di Tian easily killed a heavenly god and invited 4 heavenly gods to Invincible Palace as guests. This almost blinded everyone. How could this happen? No one knew what Di Tian said to them or what conditions they had agreed on, but the 4 heavenly gods went to Invincible Palace just like that. Everything seemed to have ended so easily, but to the 5 factions that had come so aggressively, they had lost a lot of face this time. They would never forget such an exciting battle for the rest of their lives. The immortals who had been suspicious earlier no longer had any doubts now. Tianyin Tower would definitely auction inferior-grade god weapons, and the news of the battle outside the galaxy quickly spread with the help of the heavenly gods. The circle of heavenly gods was in an uproar. No one could digest this news. The main body was not a heavenly god, but all his clones were heavenly gods. With heavenly god Wuzun, who could deal with Di Tian. Then it was said that Di Tian cultivated the top cultivation method of chaotic heavens. Rumor had it that he could cultivate 18 clones. Now that he had appeared as 5 heavenly gods, who would be left? No one dared to think further. Di Tian's strength was unfathomable. 5 heavenly gods could easily kill 1 heavenly god. If 18 heavenly gods appeared together, Di Tian's strength would be unimaginable. Who would dare to go against Di Tian? Instantly, Di Tian was labeled as a super expert. The heavenly gods who had suspected that Tianyin Tower would auction inferior-grade god weapons regretted it now. With such a super expert here, all his clones were inferior-grade god weapons. They were armed to the teeth. Would there be no inferior-grade god weapons? Heavenly gods rushed to Great Metropolis World. Great Metropolis World, in a senfu near Tianyin Tower. A bunch of unlucky B** stars. Heavenly god Li Shan did not watch the battle outside the galaxy. With his strength, he could see the battle outside from the senfu. From their murderous aura, Heavenly god Li Shan knew that this would be the result. Heavenly god Li Shan did not stay in Invincible Palace. He was here on behalf of the Holy Demon Overlord. Li Shan, are you there? Heavenly god Li Shan frowned. He took out a jade talisman from his storage ring. It was very expensive and was specially used to send messages. He activated the communication jade talisman, and a tall, illusory figure appeared in midair. This was a burly and domineering phantom. It was just a phantom, and it had its hands behind its back. It was extremely domineering, like a towering mountain that couldn't be crossed. This person was the holy demon overlord, one of the 7 overlords and one of the strongest experts in the weave. Did something major happen in the great metropolis Celestial today? Did Empyrean god Crimson Flame and the others get invited back by Dtion? The tall, illusory figure asked rather anxiously. Heavenly deity Li Shan nodded. I was just about to report this to you. There is indeed such a thing. Dtion has displayed extraordinary strength. His main body might not have reached the heavenly deity realm, but he has 5 heavenly deities by his side. Their battle prowess is extremely terrifying and cannot be underestimated. Are you sure it's 5 heavenly gods? Yes. He's armed to the teeth with treasures, Empyrean god Li Shan said. Last time, it was fortunate that I left quickly. Otherwise, I really would have been killed on the spot. I hope that you will do your best to fight for the low-grade divine artifact in the auction held by the Tianyin Tower. I will bring people over immediately. You want to come over? Yes. Now, all the higher-ups know how terrifying Dtion is. He can establish his own sect by himself. He is no longer someone who can be easily dealt with. You are quite lucky. The illusory figure's tone became solemn. Participate in the auction properly. Remember, don't offend Dtion for now. Wait for me to come over first. The illusory figure warned again and again. Heavenly deity Li Shan kept the messaging jade talisman and chuckled. I'm afraid the 7 hegemons won't be able to sit still anymore. That's true. This Dtion is too much of a bully. Demon mystic sect in the great hall of the great palace. All the core elders were enraged. A while ago, heavenly deity Black Saint died. In the blink of an eye, heavenly deity Demonic Cloud died. Demon mystic sect directly lost 2 heavenly deities. Demon mystic sect's strength was greatly affected. The news spread very quickly. Demon mystic sect also knew about heavenly deity Demonic Cloud's death immediately. After losing 2 heavenly deities in a row, Demon mystic sect was already furious. All the elders' faces were filled with anger as well. At the same time, there was a hint of astonishment. The Dtion in their eyes was actually so powerful. His main body had yet to become a heavenly deity, but his clones had become a heavenly deity first. Moreover, there was not just 1, but 5 heavenly deities. This seemed to be a huge joke. 1 heavenly deity was enough to oversee a sect. 5 heavenly deities could dominate a territory and pass down their legacy for dozens of chaos years. Sect leader, this Dtion must be eliminated. He killed 2 of our demon mystic sect's heavenly deities. It has long become a situation where one party must die. If he is allowed to advance to the heavenly deity realm, he will deal with our demon mystic sect sooner or later. I heard that he has 18 clones. If all 18 clones are heavenly deities, how can we deal with them? We must eliminate him. The thoughts of these core elders were very simple. Eliminate Dtion. The demon mystic sect leader, who was sitting on the main seat, had a gloomy expression. The news came too suddenly. The fall of heavenly deity Black Saint made the sect leader feel bad. This would make the people above think that he was incompetent. Now that another heavenly deity had fallen, how is he going to explain this to them? To be able to become the sect leader, he wouldn't make a decision easily just because of a few words. All of you said that you want to eliminate Dtion. Let me ask you, how many heavenly deities do we need to deal with him? The sect leader swept his gaze across everyone. 5 heavenly deities, or 10? The great hall was instantly silent. It was hard to say. Dtion killed heavenly deity Demonic Cloud by himself and suppressed for other heavenly deities. He won effortlessly. If they were to deal with Dtion, 5 heavenly deities might not be enough. 10 heavenly deities? They didn't have the confidence. It should be around 10 heavenly deities. An elder said, The sect leader said coldly, "What if Tian has 18 heavenly deities?" That's not possible. The elder felt his hair stand on end, and he couldn't even speak properly. The sect leader stood up. "Even you can't guarantee that if 10 heavenly deities go, what if they don't return and delay the matter of the Exalted One? Who will be responsible, or me?" Everyone lowered their heads and didn't dare to speak. No one was willing to bear this responsibility. However, if they left Tian alone, their demon mystic sect couldn't afford to lose face. They would probably become a joke now. Tian has to be dealt with, not now. The sect leader said again, "Our demon mystic sect can't have any more losses. What we need to do now is to wait for that place to open and plunder enough god deities to create a group of heavenly deities. As for Tian, we need to show our sincerity and confuse him for now. In the future, we will settle the new and old scores together." No one would refute the sect leader's words. Chapter 1734. P.S. There was a mistake in the previous chapter. The one who contacted heavenly god Li Shan wasn't the holy demon overlord, but the darkness overlord. Something similar to the demon mystic sect also happened to other sections, especially the Thousand Goblins sect, Divine Heaven Palace, Holy Demon Overlord, and Bliss Palace. They were all furious and wanted to send troops to the great heaven world to suppress Tian. As the news continued to spread, they had no choice but to calm down. Tian wasn't easy to deal with. They couldn't watch as their heavenly god experts were killed by Tian. Losing a heavenly god would have a huge impact on their sect. Especially with the demon mystic sect at the front, they lost 2 heavenly gods, and they were real heavenly gods. The losses were huge. According to the news from the Invincible Palace, Tian wasn't easy to deal with. The 5 of them couldn't resist at all. With his powerful spatial treasure and the battle fort, Tian alone could exhaust them to death. They had to bring the heavenly god back. A living heavenly god was too important. The only thing they had to do now was to bring the heavenly god back. They could deal with Tian later. Moreover, they weren't confident. Invincible Palace. For heavenly gods were temporarily under house arrest in a courtyard. Aggrieved? That was natural. They didn't dare to do anything. They could only wait obediently for the people from their sects to come. Until now, they still couldn't figure out what powerful spatial treasure Tian had that could block their attacks. In the end, they were defeated. Scolding? Every day. Perhaps this was the only way to vent their anger. Tianyin Building Branch. After Tian killed another heavenly god, the Tianyin building became completely silent. There were no more people who had such thoughts. Everyone was obedient and didn't dare to have any thoughts. They just waited for the auction to start. Do you really believe that they will use the godhood to ransom you? Lu Ziyue was accompanying Lin Fei in a private room in the Tianyin building. Because today was the day of the auction, the 5 heavenly gods came aggressively. Lu Ziyue was worried that something would happen to Lin Fei. The pressure from the space was so great that it made one's heart palpitate. The final result shocked Lu Ziyue. What appeared to be a one-sided battle in the eyes of the spectators was a completely different story. Lin Fei looked at the newcomer and said they will. Godhoods are good, and they can create heaven gods with the fighting prowess of a half-step heaven god. They know better than anyone what to do. Aren't you afraid that they will join forces again? Lin Fei chuckled. Don't be afraid. If they really work together, I'll clap my hands and welcome them to form a team. That way, the harvest will be even greater. Lu Ziyu was truly impressed by Lin Fei. You're getting bolder and bolder. You even dare to blackmail a heavenly god. Serves them right for not being as skilled as others. Lin Fei didn't want to talk too much about this. Right, the auction is about to start. Aren't you going down? Lu Ziyu looked at Lin Fei bitterly. You want me to go down so badly? Lin Fei laughed dryly. Of course not. You also came to participate in the auction. Yes, Today's auction is full of good stuff. It'll be a pity if you don't come. Many people didn't come. I'm afraid they'll miss out on this opportunity. Look, Tianyang from the Fengyun Chamber of Commerce is here. Isn't that Huang Chuan from the infernal heaven beside Tianyang? People continuously entered the heavenly fortune pavilion. Soon, people saw the heaven gods from the two major chambers of commerce enter. Tianyang and Huang Chuan walked as they walked. During this time, some heaven gods nodded at them. You could offend anyone, but you couldn't offend two major chambers of commerce. It was hard to guarantee that you wouldn't buy things from them one day. After they entered, many people from major powers also entered. For example, Heavenly God Li Shan, a subordinate of the Dark Lord. Heavenly God Li Shan entered expressionlessly. He represented the Dark Lord. Fellow Taoist Li Shan, how have you been? Before he reached the door, a familiar voice came from nearby. Fellow Taoist Luo Xian, you're here too. How rare! Heavenly God Li Shan recognized the leader of the 10 great young masters, Luo Xian. Heavenly God Luo Xian said indifferently, "It's all because of the matter at the Heavenly Fortune Pavilion. I just happened to be in a nearby territory, so I came to join in the fun. Unfortunately, Black Sage and the others." Heavenly God Li Shan said, "That's their bad luck. They can't blame anyone. If it weren't for my good luck, I'm afraid I would have fallen as well. This Di Tian really isn't easy to deal with." Heavenly God Luo Xian went into seclusion after returning from the Divine Mountain. He also successfully broke through to the Heavenly God stage. Unfortunately, his divine power was limited, so his strength was somewhat affected. He also held a grudge against Di Tian. He hadn't even found Di Tian for revenge. But Heavenly God Luo Xian heard the news he didn't want to hear the most. Heavenly Goddess Hong Yen, Heavenly God Black Sage, and the others had been killed one after another. How glorious were the 10 great young masters! In the blink of an eye, 5 of them had fallen. This was a blow to Luo Xian's head. Di Tian, it was Di Tian again. Before reaching the great celestial realm, the 5 major powers had suffered a great loss once again. One of them was killed, and 4 of them were invited back. He admitted that he was inferior to Di Tian. "I came with the elders today. I didn't come for Di Tian." Heavenly God Luo Xian still held a grudge against Di Tian. He didn't dare to act rashly in his territory. "I'm the same as you. I'm here to bid for something. Together, together!" The Heavenly Fortune Pavilion had put in a lot of effort to hold this auction. Everyone with a certain status was arranged into a private room. Those with average reputations were all arranged into the main hall. The main hall could hold more than 10,000 people. Unconvinced, no one dared to say that the current Di Tian wasn't someone they could offend at all. To put it bluntly, they were just here to join in the fun. The true participants of the auction were the 36 private rooms in the air. Among them were the Fengyun Chamber of Commerce, the Infernal Realm, and the Heavenly Hall. The main hall was filled with people. The 36 private rooms were all present. The Heavenly Fortune Pavilion's auction had begun. A formation was activated outside. The enormous Heavenly Fortune Pavilion fell into the 10,000 layered space. It was constantly moving, causing the immortals outside to be dumbfounded. This was because they couldn't sense the Heavenly Fortune Pavilion's location. The immortals who had arrived late were all regretting that they had missed such a grand auction. Everyone quiet down. After everyone arrived, the auctioneer of the Heavenly Fortune Pavilion also appeared. A sovereign with the 9 stars. Today, the sovereign with the 9 stars represented the Heavenly Fortune Pavilion. Behind him was Di Tian. The crowd also quieted down.